Right, everything should be working as normal. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and Xenos of all ages, and welcome to another Tactica Imperialis live stream. I hope you're all doing very well. This Friday, it's slightly early evening for me, so it might be a little earlier for you because I'm aware I'm on European time, and you guys might be on American or whatever time you happen to be on. So, just give me a quick sound check and all of that stuff because it's always useful to have. And this evening, I have something very specific in mind. I bought White Dwarf. And it is fascinating. I picked up White Dwarf because I wanted to read their ultimate guide to the Idoneth Deepkin, because that's something that's very important to me because, well, I want to know where the Idoneth Deepkin are at. So I've got that, I've read that, and I want to go over it, have a talk about it and all of that stuff. And I also have a model that I've nearly finished. I've base coated it from my Stormcast, so I just want to get that finished off as well. And we might have a slightly longer stream than usual, might go maybe circa 3 hours rather than the typical 2, because I've got time to get all those. Prepare the last stream went also for about 3 hours, so that's fine as well. I've not really checked the news this week, so I'll be interested to see what comes up. Actually, I'm going to go and have a look right now because I can. So what have we got in the news this week? Because I know it's been quite a quiet week with the Drakari on their way. We had the thing announced for Necromunda, but yeah, there's not a huge amount going on at the moment. Yeah, nothing huge there, but if there's anything worth covering, then I'm sure we can do just that. Yes, the Doom Turtle is officially known as the Leviathan. That is the name of the giant turtle that the Deepkin have. They also have their Fangmora or Fangmora? I can never quite remember how it's pronounced. Is it here? Do they have them here? No, it's going to be in the Ultimate Guide. Yeah, it's going to be the Ultimate Guide. Have you read the Letters My Importance story? Yeah, I read that today. That's a Deepkin story, which was quite interesting, I have to say. Fangmora, not Fangamora, yeah, Fangmora. Wondering how Khorne Demons will fare. Well, we don't know yet, obviously, because the Deepkin haven't got their rules yet. They seem to have a mechanic that works with the tides, so they'll ebb and flow, and they'll get better and worse as the game goes on. And other than that, we don't really know. I get the feeling they're going to be really fast. I get the feeling that they're going to be quite flimsy because they're elves, but I think they're gonna be quite a glass cannon army, kind of like Daughters of Cain are, maybe with a bit less DPS traded for a bit more speed. I'm not sure on that though. That's just my prediction. Just because they're elves, they generally fall into the bracket of glass cannon. As a rule of thumb, you can expect them to be a glass cannon, but I can't guarantee anything. Necrons are very fun. Oh, lovely. Glad to hear it. I've not really spoken to our Necron player much about what's going on with the Necrons, but they seem to be alright. And I'm dropping some frames, and I don't know why I'm dropping some frames. It's not... what's the story behind them as we know so far? Aha! That's what this is for. The ultimate guide to the Idoneth Deepkin. Starting at way to Khorne, I got a significant portion of my club into Eos. Excellent! I'm glad to hear it. So this is the ultimate guide to the Idoneth Deepkin. It's how many pages? It's actually 7 pages of White Dwarf dedicated to Idoneth lore. It's entirely Idoneth lore. And why am I dropping so many damn frames? If it persists, I might just put the technical difficulty screen up, cut the stream and restart it, but I'm hoping I won't have to do that if it continues to persist. So I could go, there is a website that I might link you in the chat that just got it in English, just like all the stuff that's in here, but I kind of want to, oh my goodness me, I kind of want to discuss it here, just so I can talk about it from White Dwarf. Bear in mind, I'm reading this in French, so there will be some translation mistakes or things I don't fully understand, but I'm more than happy to talk Idoneth lore with you. Hope the beast in the army has a little more wounds than normal elf forces. The turtle, the Leviathan, I'm expecting to sort of have maybe in the region of 12 or 12 to 15. as a wound count. I'm expecting in the region of 12 to 15. With a 4+ save and maybe a 6+ invulnerable, sort of 6+ ignore wound energy shield. Though I haven't got much to back that up, that's just sort of my... So is that model actually techless? No. Techless has nothing to do with the Idoneth Deepkin. Well, he does, in that he created them, but they completely ran off and would rather not be fighting at all if they could help it. That model riding a tidal wave is 2 models, in fact. They are the 2 variants of what is known as the Eidolon of Matlan. Matlan, if it's Matlan or Mathlan, Matlan, I don't know. Yeah, I've got my I've got my phone here, Rowan. So just if you have any technical issues, do let me know. Although I'll see the issues probably as fast as you'll see them, because I'll see if OBS has an issue, I'll see it just as fast as you will. I'll see the frame rate drop unless I'm not looking at the screen. So in the time it takes for it to crash, I'll have probably noticed. But sure, I've got it ready if you need it. So yeah, it's nothing to do with Techless. Techless wanted to create the pure light elves, and he kind of failed. The Idoneth Deepkin base troops, the Namati, do not have eyes. They are blind. They are actually blind. That just happened and it's annoying. So yes, the Namati are actually blind. I have to say I might start Deepkin after Khorne. Go for it. Go for it, I say. Okay, this is bugging me too much. This is... Yeah, we've got some lag. I'm really not shocked. I'm just going to do a quick cut and start. So I'm going to cut the stream and then reboot it. Yeah, I know it's not great right now. So I'm going to cut the stream and reboot it and hopefully... Yeah, give me a minute. Alright, things seem to be holding. I won't put much faith in it, but hopefully... No. Is it only ever on like this screen that we seem to have issues? Seriously? Seriously? Why? Why? Just why? Dumb thing. Yeah, I know we have issues at the moment. I'm hoping, no, it's being an absolute dick about it. And I don't know why. Okay, so it seems that the encoder overloads. It seems that the encoder overloads and that kills the frame rate. But that used to happen all the time and it would then just fix itself. It was never an issue. Seems back to normal on your end. It's not really on mine. It's really not on mine. Could you just tell me what to turn down? Is it the frame rate? Is it the... What's wrong? Could you tell me why I'm having this problem rather than just... I don't know why it's needing to do this. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I just don't understand. I don't understand. Right. I'm going to have one more go at this. I've literally turned the Wi-Fi off and on again for my computer, so I've reconnected to the Wi-Fi network, and I'm just going to hope it holds. Like, I don't know what more it wants me to do. I don't know what more it wants from me. So hopefully, we've got a bloody stable stream now. I think it seems to be holding. Yeah, I am streaming a lot earlier. I'm streaming about 2 hours earlier than usual because I wanted to go longer, but I didn't want to go late, so I started early because some people do come in. Sometimes people have to dive out early, so I'll start a little earlier. Yeah, it seems to be holding now. So before every stream, what I need to do is turn the Wi-Fi off and on again. Right. And that's the power of technology, kids. Anyway, now that I've got that faff out of the way and hopefully everything's working, I can actually have a discussion with you about the Idoneth, because that's what I actually wanted to do. That's what I actually wanted to do. So I can have a really good lore discussion about the Idoneth with you guys, and I'm really looking forward to it. But anyway, there you go. It seems alright now. It seems alright, man. So yes, the Idoneth Namati, which is the infantry, are blind. They are completely blind. Does it explain why here? The Namati are the most numerous of the Idoneth, but they are also those with the shortest life expectancy because their souls are cursed, so much that they will die during their infancy. Their life is hard because they must submit regularly to a process of soul implantation, which is rather painful, and despite everything, they'll only live about 30 or 40 years. Even if they're a similar appearance to the Isharan and the Akelians, the Namati are blind because their sockets, orbits, I'm not quite sure how that translates to English, are covered by a translucid membrane which gives them a troubling appearance. In order to survive until the adult age, they must receive a new soul captured during one of the Idoneth raids. The soul transfer is assured by the Isharan mages by the bias of rituals which leave something to the Marty. These last having to take a sort of collar and a rune on their heads. So yes, the Namati are extremely blind because their eyes have been covered by this membrane, and they also have, oh, this web is using significant, why is it using significant energy? It's a live stream, chat, how hard can it be? And their souls are cursed to just fall apart. As a result, they need new souls, which is why the Idoneth do their soul capturing thing. So the D are getting reboxings. Most characters are stock online and witches have gone on web store exclusive. Yes, they are. In here, actually, there's an image of the Drakari. Is it here or is it the back? I think it's actually at the back. So you can see here a lot of the stuff. So Carbolites, Racks, Scourges. There's some stuff here that's already been reboxed. So I expect that anything that hasn't will probably get caught up. Have you read the Wolfsbane spoilers? I haven't. Makes sense they don't have eyes. The creator's eyes don't work. So there's no context to vision. It was his first time. Tyrion's the one who's blind, not Teclis. Tyrion's the blind one, not Teclis. Teclis created them. Yeah, the failure rate for the Idoneth was about 99%. About 90%, 99% of them are Namati. The rest are those with the full soul that won't fall apart, the Isharan and the Akelians. So yes, is there anything else that you particularly want to know, or would you rather me just go over it a bit? Tyrion is one. Yes, I believe one of the twins was blind when they entered the mortal realms. Whether they still are is unclear, and I believe that one is Tyrion. Oh, speaking of Nagash, there's a little segment in here about Nagash. There was otherwise a natural order of life and death in the mortal realms. At its death, a soul left for the underworlds of Slanesh. where it would be held in the afterlife in normality with the belief of its, in conformity with the beliefs of its people. But since the return of Nagash, he has made subservient many souls because he considers that they are his by right. They come to him by right. When Nagash learned of the existence of the Idoneth, he was absolutely furious because they were doing exactly what Sigmar had done before them, taking the souls that should have come to Sage and come to him. Any particular bits you've read and found interesting? Yeah, actually, well, I was reading up on their cavalry and their war beasts. So there are two types of cavalry. There's eel cavalry and there's shark cavalry. And the eel cavalry, which are piloted by the young nobles who are learning their trade, the younger Kellians, they charge their lances with the bioelectricity of the eels. They are bioelectric lances, which I think is quite cool. How did you such shoddy work? It was his first attempt. So for a start, these were the very, very first souls that they got from Slash. These were the first of the first. And they'd never done it before. We don't know all the details of what went into the process and why the process failed. But when he created them and taught them magic, these children were introvert and they had trouble with his tutelage. He looked into their souls, and instead of light, he found some sort of impenetrable darkness. Using a spell, he tried to show them, he sort of forced them to see what they are inside, and some of them went mad, and the rest were scared and ran off. So we don't know why it went wrong, but it went wrong. There was some sort of darkness in their soul, which was then indicated by the fact that after the first generation was born, the soul's setiol. I just need to do some translation actually. There's a couple of verbs I don't know here. One of them being setiole or etiole? Setiole, okay. Setiole. So their souls would wither. So their souls withered away along with their life sort of expectancy. So I guess the angelic light elves like an improved one. Yeah, the new elves that Tyrion and Teclis create afterwards will probably be called the Sithai or the Kithai, and they're going to be the true light elves. The Evier. How does Evier translate? No, wrong accent. The awakened. The awoken, the awakened is probably what their name could be. So they were dark elves in their former lives. No, they weren't. These elves were the worshippers of the former elven god of the sea, Mathlon. They were the last to be consumed by Slanesh because they hid away under the sea at the end of the world that was. So Slanesh took too long to find them and consume them. So they were the last consumed, thus the first saved. They're not dark elves. Their leader was Aeslin, the leader of the Lothern Sea Guard, who threw his lot in with Malekith and betrayed Finnebar the Seafarer. Of course, their darkness and their soul being numbed on by Slanesh isn't good for your health, I suppose. Dad, do you maybe really consider starting Age of Sigmar? Yeah, realistically, the two Elven factions have done wonders for the health of AOS. They've done wonders for it. It's fascinating. It's really fascinating, truly. That you don't see the sun. There's sunny outside. I mean, admittedly, I'm not the most outgoing person in the world, though I don't quite know what you're implying with that, because that seems extremely show off. That doesn't seem particularly helpful of you to say, but yeah. Maybe just a bit harshly, being tug-of-war between gods can't be pleasant. Well, yeah, I mean, if you read the short story A Rescued Soul, you know it's absolute hell for the souls consumed by Slaanesh. It is literally hell. And they will do literally anything not to go back. Like, this is horrible for them. They hate it. But yeah. Shark cavalry is no bear cavalry good enough. Also, the Brainwave, you want to do AOS lore, but you want someone else to do it. What about... Ha! No. Now what you want to know... Now I want to know what they're going to do with I want to know what they're doing with all of the elves. Come on, G-dubs. I want all the elves by the end of the year. I just want all the elves because I want like 5,000 points of all of them that are going to have 25,000 points of AOS and it will be glorious. I know, I'm completely psycho, I know. With Glorious releases, people should stop moaning about AOS. Yes! I mean, it has its issues, yes, but yes! So much so. Physics are probably not chained to the lab like some physicists. I don't do that much labs here. I do some labs. Like I've done probably about 30 hours of labs this semester, but I don't do as much lab work as I could do, let's say in a master or a PhD. I'm not doing that much. I'm doing a lot of theory. Admittedly, that consigns you to a lecture theatre rather than the lab, so same difference. Elves are being spoon-fed. Well, spoon-fed means that they're being like just given to us and shoved down our throats, and they're not. They're being fed to us bit by bit by bit, so they're being fed in portions. But yeah. Valyrian elves are not the dark elf models that carried over. They're going to be a shadow elf, so like the Mistweaver Sai and maybe the Tenebrow Shard from Silver Tower will probably go with Valyrian. So they're going to be all about using the shadow to their advantage, and they might even have beings of pure shadow. I really don't know. There's something like majestic and dark at the same time. It's a really fascinating setup. I'm studying physics. Someone said higher up. I'm studying physics. Yeah. Want Tomb Kings to be back, can't have anything. Well, the Tomb Kings are kind of probably dead, and Death has just had like 4 factions released as part of Legions of Nagash. So admittedly, if you want exactly Tomb Kings, you are kind of out of luck, but if you just want to play Death, then there's plenty for you, and there's more coming with whatever that Black Coach thing that was teased at Adepticon is. So I wouldn't worry so much as a Death player. If you want exactly Tomb Kings, then yeah, rip, but yeah. Yeah, can't have everything. Yeah, you can't win them all. Age of Sigmar is confusing if you only know all fantasy lore. Yes, but then again, Age of Sigmar is trying to move away from that. That yes, you've got some individuals like who become the gods, like Tyrion and Teclis and Malekith and Marathi and Sigmar, Gorka Morka, Grungni. That there's some big names carried over, but the general universe tried to distance itself from fantasy in some way. So it's kind of like you have to put fantasy aside and learn again. Do you know how much else is happening to get something from Slaanesh? Yes. I'm willing to bet that by the end of the year we will have all 4 elf factions. So Marathi, the Idoneth, who are the independent, Tyrion and Teclis, who maybe will have 2, and then Valyrian, and then we'll get Slaanesh, which will be a cross-release with 40k, where we might get Fulgrim as a model that is a combo kit, so you can make either Fulgrim or some super massive like Keeper of Secrets. It's like Super Doom Demon, maybe. Something like that. There is no Warhammer Total War 3, not yet. Total Warhammer 2 has had its run, and it was pretty damn popular, though I never played it personally. There's been no confirmation of a Total War 3, given that we've had what? Thrones of Britannia is next up, and then I think there's going to be probably something else as well. There is no Warhammer 3, certainly not that I'm aware of. Suki's could pretend as Neferata is still alive. It's not outside the realms of possibility, but I find it unlikely. That's all I'm going to say. I find it unlikely. Really hope we don't get Fulgrim. Well, I think if we're going to get another Primarch back for 40k, it's going to be Fulgrim. Wasn't the whole point of fantasy it was generally a good time to live while Sigmar Space is a dystopia of 40k? No. No. Fantasy was kind of its own sort of personal hell. Like, it wasn't as bad as 40k, not even close, but it wasn't great. Like, between the Skaven, the Orcs, Chaos, being a human was not particularly pleasant. The Elves were always teetering. It was not great. It wasn't as bad, but it wasn't great. Sigmar is different again. Is it as bad as 40k? Don't know. But it's kind of a different situation. Like, in 40k, the setup is the Imperium conquered the galaxy and is now trying to hold it. In Sigmar, Sigmar lost the Mortal Realms and is now trying to take them back. So it's a different setup. What would you like to see? Right, that wasn't clear. Basically, just keep a wide variety of factions and just boost the mechanics. Just keep the mechanics working, import whatever's working from Thrones of Britannia or the other systems, and just generally add more factions if you can, or maybe go like down the Mortal Empires route where it's an absolute mega game. I don't know. I'm not really up on it. You're better off asking someone who actually games, and that someone is not me. So is there anything else Idoneth related that I can go over? Just while I'm here? Because it actually gives information on their heroes, a little bit on like how they live, like why they do what they do. And there's little other bits dotted around in here. So I'm just, if you've got any questions, just ask away. Chaos Dwarves Warhammer 3, hopefully Cathay. That would be interesting. Maybe some of the minor factions like Cathay and others would be interesting. Can also use one of the three Mortarks on a gash. Yep. Why are they doing whatever they do? Okay. So, as I went over earlier, basically the Idoneth souls, for 99% of them, the Namarti, are withering. They're falling apart and they can't sustain themselves for more than a couple of years. As a result, basically, they need to refresh those souls. How do they describe it here? The Idoneth looked desperately for a solution to this as their race declined, and they found one. By capturing the spiritual essence of another creature, they were able to prolong the life of the Namarti, but only for a short period of time. Those rare Idoneth born with an intact soul, the Isharan and the Akelian, were devastated as their race was condemned to steal the souls of others in order to survive. So what they do is they are forced to raid, steal the souls of other races either by killing them or by extracting them and just putting them into an unwakeable coma, and then implanting those souls in a rather painfully process into the Namarti to refresh them. And that's all they can do. They hate it. They utterly hate it. But it's what they have to do. Cathay for Aeros would be cool at one of the other obscure fantasies. We might see something like that. So they're basically just going, not at all. All due respect, knock it off. All due respect. But yes, they're not Dark Eldar. Not even close. There's a little paragraph here about Slaanesh, and it goes on to say that the Idoneth have renounced all pleasure, desire, and sensation, and are going to basically like try and never dream again, because Slaanesh can sort of creep into their minds, so they never want it again, so they try and block Slaanesh. Étouffé, is that like the smother? Yeah, they sort of want to smother out their own thoughts just to stop Slaanesh getting at them. So they don't do it for pleasure. They do it for survival. They don't have a choice. It's not at all like the Drukhari. It's nothing like the Drukhari. Tiger Beastmen. That would be interesting. Where do they live? They are quite widespread at this point. So they live in what are called... Actually, they don't have a special name. But they're basically connected by underwater realm gates. So that's what they are, is underwater realm gates that connect all the cities together. And the first of them was in Haish, the Realm of Light, no surprises there. They have city in Gyron, they have one in Akshi, they have one in... they have one that's actually on the back of a creature that actually travels around. It's been from Gyron to Gur, which has been recently attacked by Skaven. So they live kind of all over the place. Yeah, it is a horrible existence. Like, the Idoneth do yeah. Can they breathe underwater? They live underwater. So if they can't, then I'll be amazed how they've stayed alive this long. It doesn't say specifically that they can, but I'd be amazed if they can't. These gates are like the webway. The realm gates, which has been around, is like basically how you get between the 8 mortal realms, and there's loads of them. So they are kind of more like wormholes. They're more like interdimensional wormholes. You walk through them and you go from one realm to another. So there's like one that connects, there's one, for example, that connects fire to life, which is where Hammerhal is built. It's built in both realms at once. It's called, there's Hammerhal actually and Hammerhal Gyron. So they're like wormholes. It's probably a decent one. Yes, they are grimdark as flip, and I love it. They are grimdark as flip, and I love it. Could Ulrich still be alive? Not impossible, but extremely unlikely, considering the only gods who've made it through were mortal. So Sigmar, Tyrion, Teclis, Marathi, Malerion, Grungni, kinda. Gorka Morka is kind of an exception, as is Nagash, but yeah. I can't say they're like Dolmen Gates because that implies that they're a separate dimension. The realm gates do not lead to another dimension, so to speak. They just jump from one realm to another. They basically, yeah, they're like wormholes. That's the best word I can come up with. Like, you walk through them, you're in one realm to the other. They're not like the webway, which is a dimension with it over the material plane, or the warp, which is what Chaos Realm is. They're different again. And that wormhole is the best analogy I have, I'm afraid. Alariel, she's alive. She is the leader of the Sylvaneth. She's that woman mounted on the whack-off beetle. So that's Alariel. She's around. And she is also a god. The Ever Queen is also a god. But badass bear god. Sorry, can't have them all. Maybe he will come back. Maybe the devoted of Sigmar will worship him as a secondary deity. We don't know. Maybe. Yes, I am meeting Maltesers. Why do you ask? Rowan, why have you called yourself the Straw Poll Master? You're utterly incompetent at making straw polls. Could we see a Sigmar model at some point? I find that extremely unlikely. Impossible? No. Extremely unlikely, though. But Tyrion's Light Elves, Malarian's Shadow, Maratha's Witches, and Teclis' Deep Ones. Oh, for goodness sake, shut up. So, yeah, but no, but is the answer to that question. The Deepkin, the Idoneth, are nothing to do with Teclis anymore. He created them, and they ran off. They're nothing to do with him now. I get the feeling that the Light Elves will be a combined faction of Tyrion and Teclis together, whilst the Idoneth stand alone from them all. Then we'll have Malarian's Shadow and Marathi's Cainites, and that will be your 4. It's not Herbie the Lovebug. I don't know what its official name is. It's just a giant whack-off beetle. Where are the regular elves that are still in AOS coming from? They primarily came from Azerheim. How they got there, we don't know. But when Malarian and Marathi went hunting for elves in the Mortal Realms, the only place they could find them was in Azerheim, and they form like the Swifthawk Agents and the Scourge Privateers, I guess. So how they got there, I'm not sure. We'd need to see like a book on the Swifthawk Agents or the elves in general. Yes, Slanesh is politically incorrect. Slanesh is extremely everything incorrect. Have you not noticed? Wake up and smell the 40k in AOS universe, bro. Alright, Rowan, if you're a straw poll lord, go and make a straw poll and not crash it the first time. Good evening. Or morning. Or afternoon. I don't know where you are in the world. So yeah, once we go past the technical difficulties, the stream's actually going alright. I've laid down a challenge to Rowan now, and I have to wonder if he can do it. No? No? You're backing down? The straw poll master will not create a straw poll to prove their mastery of straw polls? I am disappointed. Are the slopes still open around Grenoble? If they are, then I'll be impressed, because I can see actual rock on most of the mountains at this point. They'll probably be closed for the most part. There might be the odd one that's like high enough to stay open, but pretty much they'll be closed, I suspect. Have the Deacon got a release date? Yes, they're on pre-order the 14th and they're out the 21st. So I expect that next week we'll get their previews, because they usually get the preview before they go on pre-order. So next week's streams, I'm going to get to do previews for the Idoneth Deepkin, and it's going to be glorious. Any ideas for a backstory for a Lord of Khorne? Not really. I'm bad at homebrewing, and I haven't really studied how the Blades of Khorne operate. If they're a Lord of the Bloodbound generally will enslave as they go, so that they'll recruit by enslavement. But beyond that, I don't know how their lords work. And also, yes, what type are they? Are they demon, juggernaut, foot-mounted, what? That would also help. Thank you. Like I say, I'll be doing the preview hopefully next week. Basically, when we get them, I try and stream twice a week, although I'll probably only stream once next week because of Adeptus Podcastus. So I'll probably stream midweek, Tuesday or Wednesday. And then I'll have Adeptus Podcastus recording the Friday. And then I'll probably stream the Sunday, or maybe the Saturday, probably the Sunday. And we'll do it then. So over the 2 streams. Turtles make awesome raiders for the Witch Cult, and the foot guys look Mandrake-like. And then you combine the Daughters of Cain, you have Slith, you have Scourges, you have Witches. You can actually really use the 2 Elven factions to create a really good Drakari army on the fly. Really, you can. Are Gork and Mork real? There's a lot of ambiguity around them. In 40k, yes, because they talk to Gazkul, we think. In AOS, no, because Gorka Morka exists, which is a fusion of the two, and they exist. And they were part of the original Grand Alliance before getting bored and wandering off. Wait, I just memed? When did I just meme? Why did I meme? How did I meme? What did I do? What did I do to meme? I didn't do anything to meme. Did I? Did I? Blood teleporting is the thing, call him the unkillable, reset him up with 8 blood type pool, he has the demon keyword, so it works. Maybe. Could multiple Necron chronometrons be used to create a stable pocket of compressed space-time? I don't think so. I'm not an expert on the chronometron and how it works, unfortunately. A revamped Chaos Dwarf faction could be good. Yep, that would be cool. Admittedly, I'd rather see them just be like... I want to see more stuff. I want to see how they can expand destruction more than I'm fussed for chaos and order. Like, I'm biased toward order because of the elven influence, but I really want destruction to get more stuff. I really do. So, yeah. Objectively speaking, I'd rather see a destruction faction or 3 first. But if we get Chaos Dwarves, that would be cool. How do we know that Gorka Mork's talking to Gazkul? It could just be a Gretchen that's a good ventriloquist. We don't know. It's just assumed that he has, what do you call it? Visions of the gods. We don't know. It's just assumed. Can the Drakari steal the sun? Yes. That's what they do to get light to come around. They captured stars. What realm do you see your chamber fighting in most of the time? Either fire or life, because my main friend, Kieran, plays primarily Khorne and Nurgle, which is, of course, mainly in the realm of fire and in the realm of life, respectively. So they're the 2 realms I mainly go with. So I might actually... it's quite convenient that the Deepkin have a faction in both of those realms, so I can fit the Deepkin to them if I want to. And the daughters travel a lot, so that's not so much of a problem. I was disappointed. Oh, you're calling that a meme, right? I hate that that's using so much energy. I don't know why it is. What is destruction again? Orcs, goblins, giants, ogres of all stripes. That's at least 2 or 3 factions there. So there's several stripes of orcs, several factions of goblins, and then the various ogre factions, and the giants are the main ones, but there could be more that they could add in later. Are you studying regular physics or quantum physics? Both. Because once you get past like the basics of mechanics, you kind of have to have quantum physics. I think every module I'm doing, I think, uses quantum mechanics in some way. I think every single one. Shoei fluid? Does the plasma physics use quantum? Probably. Then I have to use the Pauli exclusion principle all the time. That's relative to quantum mechanics. That's relativity, which is separate again from quantum mechanics, but we'll also use quantum effects. Yeah, I use quantum all the time. In your opinion, what happened to Loyalist Marines for the traitor legions after the heresy? They went renegade, or they hid inside the Loyalist ranks and formed their own chapters. See potentially chapters like the Blood Ravens, the Carcara Dynastra, and the Death Eagles. Ooh, Rowan actually polled. Let's see if it works. It's a sin. There's the Fimir. Oh yeah, they're the Forge World thing, aren't they? I always, yeah, I'll admit I always forget they exist. Fair enough, Rowan. Well played. Well played. Well played. Yes, WTF indeed. 48, I don't know if 40k needs an anime, really. Like, the books are so good, and putting voices and names, voices and artwork to certain characters might actually hurt in some ways. And also forces them to create another canonical plot. So, I don't know, I'd rather they just keep doing what they're doing. I'm kind of alright with it. Like, I could live with without there being a 40k anime or animated series or movie. I kind of would like to see it in some ways, but I could live without it. I'll say that. I could live without it. Well, those trials are coming next down the pipeline, and who would you want back if you could choose? Most likely, it's going to be Lion, and that's the one I also want because it has the most lore implications. So, Lion for both. Although there is no confirmation of when we're going to Lion, or if we are going to get any more lore of this Primarchs at all. That's just my suspicion. $40k would be almost impossible to convert to a video format. Yeah, in some ways, like the CGI you'd have to do would be utterly ridiculous. Do you think the Emperor's going to die and the Star Child's ascension is near? No. I don't think they're going to go down the Terminus Decree route at all. They could, but I don't think they're going to. What I don't like about AOS is the old factions have no lore because no battle tomes. Almost no lore. Like, there's some of the Malimportant stories have helped, and things like that. But yes, it does suck, and that's why I really think it's what I said in the New Year's top 5 hopes for the hobby for 2018 is we need to get the release rate of the AOS books out so much faster to get that lore out to us. I've said that. Mama's on Russell Lorgar, but I'd probably go more Lorgar. I don't think Lorgar at all. Fulgrim and Angron are far more likely in my mind. I won't, like I say, I wouldn't rule it out, but that's what my suspicion would be. How about 40k is the Imperial Guard, some out of the way planet. Like, they'd have to do that. Like, they can't make it like super about the overarching plot of the universe, because that then has to be completely directly overseen by GW to make sure it's spot on. Otherwise, well, yeah. A comic could work, and they've done comics before. The comics have been done before. I like to step forward with the lore. My only issue now is I want more. Yes! Agreed. They did their part of the Monster Arcana, and if your hero make an army is they have 8 monsters and a few as well as Fimir with the battle line. Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense. Lorgar and Pert would be great. I'd love to see Pert just so I know what he looks like as like an actual model and artwork, but I could live without it. I know about Lorgar vs Gilliman, but Lorgar has shown no indication of being back, whereas Fulgrim we know is back. Vulcan almost certainly lives. Some sort of slave faction ruling it. I'm not sure who they are, but that's a different way of doing things. Lorgar makes for a better ultimate bad guy as the others are too focused. But Lorgar doesn't do anything. Like, they've set Abaddon up to be that guy. Yeah, there have been several comics before, like, there's a Dark Angels comic series, I think. Pins and needles. No, maybe Vulcan. Vulcan almost certainly does, but yeah. Lorgar probably the least interesting looking Primarch. We haven't seen Perturabo yet, and that could look really stupid, so yeah, probably, but we can't investigate the webway. We'll see if they want to do that. I don't know. Honestly, they could do it either way. Very interesting, psychologically speaking. Yeah. We're still speaking about Lorgar, yeah. Yeah. Lorgar has a place of being interesting, but I don't know. He's never grabbed me the same as others. Like Magnus. Might actually just get a piece of kitchen roll and then I can do the dry brush on this model. Probably should do another straw poll to see if people want me to get Kane or Idoneth next. Lorgar's still sitting in his room staring at cast of slave warriors that ruled Egypt in the Middle Ages that used slaves as warriors and rulers because they overthrew the old sultan. So, okay. Not sure how well that would translate into game mechanics and interesting fluff, but yeah. Mine's the best Primarch though, unfair comparison. Yeah, true I suppose. True I suppose. Also, GW cleared up covering up popular Primarchs because they did Mortarion. Yeah, but like Mortarion was brought back for like really good plot reasons, and it also allowed the Death Guard to become their own faction. I don't know. Oh, for goodness sake. Has Araby returned with a whole Arabic motif? That could work. I think we do need to see more about the human factions, yeah. A 40k story-driven single-player game focused less on lesser represented successor chapters or something. However, they still need to work closely with GW. Yes, they would. Like, that would be cool, but that's kind of like what Dawn of War was. A sort of single-player driven, story-driven game about the Blood Ravens. Kinda. Bit odd way of putting it, but kinda. The new Death Guard look horrible though. Like somebody effed up the home box screen instead of being scary and sick looking. That's a matter of opinion, I think. Typhus aside, I quite like the Death Guard range. I think that's just a complete, like, up to your opinion on them. I think Drago should... Oh, get out. XCOM, but it's a custom Marine chapter. People have talked about 40k XCOM for ages. Like 40k XCOM is, yeah. Have you had a chance to read more of the new Tau Codex lore? Not really. No, I haven't had a chance to get the Tau Codex. No. I mean, when I get the Idoneth book, I might buy it, but then I'd have to buy the English version as well. As with the AOS books, like the rules are so simple that I can get away with just having the French version, but the 40k books are so complex by comparison that I'd need to get the English version. So. I find myself like in Gilliman now more. Yeah, I do too. But 40k Gilliman is actually better than 30k Gilliman in my opinion. In the blended with armored vehicles without decals are I don't think they're going to put Fulgrim in AOS. Like because he's such a big name in 40k, I don't see him coming to AOS. Thoughts on Primaris Marines? I made an entire video with my thoughts on the Primaris Marines a few months ago. Intriguing, just need more. JRPG style as an Inquisitor, explore the Imperium and gather followers through investigation. That might work. That might work, I suppose. Do I want to wash first or? Yeah, I should wash first because I don't really want to glue anything on until I've got those arms on. If I get the arms on, then everything else can follow on. Are there more Chaos Gods in AOS than with the Horn Rat and such? There's one more, depending on if you count Malice. If you count Malice, there's the same. If you don't count Malice, there's one more in AOS. Excited but skeptical as you have to be about Mechanicus and Necromunda games. Absolutely, always be like that, yeah. Severin dominate a human faction that left the Imperium and have stood against the forces of Imperium, Xenos and Chaos. I haven't come across them in my research. I'll have a look at that later. You might say it's a glorified cash grab, and fine, say that. But honestly, like, there are, yes, okay, it does create more models and sell more models and make more money. Yes, fine. But the way they've been implemented into the game has not been bad. And that's where most people have been really miffed off. The Tau made sort of made a truce to Graford Eldar, and they teamed a strike force of Tau and Eldar to go on a secret mission. Yes, that's with Ulthway, I believe. Appreciate any new lore and models they give us. Yes, like generally, unless it breaks the, like, generally I'm quite happy with the new lore as long as they can justify how it all works. Really, as long as they can justify everything fits together, I'm always happy to see more stuff. The Terex Assault Drill is now on pre-order. Good to know. Would Xenos character not including Tau, would you like to get a new model? Vect and also Malice for the Drakari. The Phoenix Lords could do with a touch-up in some cases. Karandras from me, maybe. Probably some Tyranid characters would be cool, but I know it's kind of hard to implement. Wazdaka Gutsmech. Old Zogwart. There's quite a few. Or should do yes, Liskius, Sathanix, they'd be cool as well. No, the Angry Marines are a dead meme. Seven known that seems to be from the FW books back in the day. Okay, like I say, I'll have a look into it later when I've got some time. Let's add to the podcast's debate that while 100 years ago Gaskell might not have been able to step up to Gilliman, he'd grown considerably in time. Yes, but I don't know, he just doesn't have the same, like, lore power. Like, as a named character, he doesn't have the same, like, gravitas as a name than as Gilliman. So, like, yes, you know he's a badass, and you know he's extremely powerful, but, like, if I said Gilliman versus Gaskell to most of you, you would almost have to... Like, Gilliman versus Gaskell, go. You'd almost have to snap... Your snap pick would almost always be Gilliman. Unless, like, you were talking about on tabletop and you knew the meta and apparently Gaskell is better. But... Let's see models from lesser played regiments, Koff, Steelage and Bias. Yeah, like, just, like... Yeah, expansion of, like, lesser ranges is always lovely. And Xenos in particular. I would agree that we kind of do need a new model for Gaskell, particularly if they want to make him into this super awesome badass monster. We definitely need a new model for him. Very cool representation of the Chaos Code and the Emperor is awesome terrain pieces. I don't know about that. I honestly don't. Plus, why would you have statues like of the Emperor and the Chaos Gods on the same planet? Because if it's an Imperial world, shrines to the Chaos Gods, no way. And if you're on a Chaos world, a shrine to the False Emperor, you'd have to desecrate the hell out of it. They take away that they're from James Gene Pool's Custodes. No, they're not. They're improved gene seed from regular Astartes. It's been always stated like that. The Custodes are biomancy. It's always been that way. How are we doing? Not so bad, actually. We've been discussing the Idoneth a little earlier. And I'm just doing a little bit of painting in this little bit of quiet period. Fairly and can't take Killerman easy, and that's a really minded look. Yeah, but I'm not talking about in terms of gameplay. I'm not talking about gameplay. I'm talking about their gravitas as a character, as a personality. I don't know. It's hard for me to justify what I mean. Will you shove off? Yeah, it's hard for me to describe what I mean, but I don't feel like Gaskell has the same power in his as a name as Gilliman. I think, yeah, if you were to do that, you'd have to do Desecration on the Emperor one. And the Shrines of the Chaos Gods, well, nobody knows what they really look like, so it might be kind of difficult. Are the Alpha Legion loyal, traitor, or other? It sort of varies. Some of them are definitely traitor. Some of them might well be loyal, and some might just be other, like Renegade. With Superman Space, it's not lore compatible. Oh, don't make me have that rant today. Don't make me have that rant, please. Please don't make me have that rant today. Primarchs will return to what the orcs devolve from the Crocs. I suppose that's a word for it. The Prime Orcs maybe are a bit like the Crocs, or maybe they are actually the Crocs. Perhaps. Gatsco is probably as renowned amongst the Orcs as Guilliman is to the Imperials. Yes, like, the big scrap is a really big deal, I'll agree with you. Because that's what the Orcs call Armageddon, in case you didn't know. I don't know, it might just be me personally, and I'm speaking as an Orc player, so it's not like I hate Gazkul. I just don't feel like he's as big as Guilliman. In terms of, like, star power, potential for models and everything, I don't know. It's hard for me to express. To whoever made the Primaris comment, look up the Raptors. Thank you. What are Prime Orcs? The Prime Orcs were a breed of orc that we came across, that was first encountered and only encountered during the War of the Beast back in M32. Much larger than regular orcs, much more powerful, and in some cases much more intelligent. I don't know much about them, I've not researched them very much, but that's the long and short of it. I guess they'd always use Tusker. Yeah, Tusker's a thing. Because it's been kidnapped by the Drakari, yes, that happened. Why? Who knows? It's the Homunculus Covens. But yes, there were Custodes captured by Homunculus Coven. What more of the Raven Guard, White Scars, and Salamanders? Also wonder how the Primaris deal with the Canis Helix. Well, they've sort of seemingly conquered the floor, so I will be interested to see how they sort of approach the Primaris question with the Space Wolves. Prime Orcs or Crocs? Not specifically. I don't know if it's actually stated that they are, but they might just be like a nearer and a sort of like closer descendant to the Croc than your typical Orc is, I think. I'm not 100% on that. I need to buy Nit's Chaos because the code doesn't have enough HQ choices for Slanesh. I mean, not including Demon Prince only has 3 HQs, Nurgle has, and Zinch have 7, Gorn has 9. Ouch! One thing I found was that GW made so many different Farseer models. Now, why couldn't they do that for the Archon and Succubus, where there's one Succubus sculpt and 2 Archon sculpts, and one of them's terrible? Are Orcs edible? I don't think anyone's dumb enough to try, but potentially. Shut off. Even Space Marine HQ models don't have so many sculpts. True. I mean, that's mainly because they got a plastic kit, though. So, like, the Space Marine Commander got a plastic kit, so you can do whatever you want with him. As for the Librarian, there's probably 2 or 3 that I can think of. Chaplains and Apothecaries within the Command Squad kit. Chaplains, maybe 3 I can think of. But then again, I've also got to include the Terminator armor variants, and I don't know if I'm doing that in that calculation. Yeah. Crocs just being green skin. No, they're nothing like the Eldari. The Crocs were very different to the Eldari. 2 Succubi sculpts, 3rd edition metal and current plastic. I forgot about the 3rd edition metal one, I'll admit. Same with Archons, I completely forget. I almost discount the fact that the 3rd edition ones exist since the entire range basically got redone in 5th. We're almost there now. But the Primaries also cure the Red Thirst and Black Rage. They are certainly far less susceptible to it. When asked about it by Brother Cure Bulow of the Blood Angels following the devastation of Baal, they didn't really know what it was. So it seems like Call cracked it, whatever it was. Could we see him move Mortal Cornate Champions? In 40k and AOS, in 40k maybe, AOS I think will need to go through a bit of a cycle now until the Bloodbound get another turn in the sun, because they had plenty of time to get characters and models, but now that they've had their turn in the sun, I think we might get a bit of time with the other factions before we get one. So maybe, but just not immediately will be my answer to that. Maybe, but not quickly. Primarchs are a pun on Primarchs. They're not actual Primarchs, they're orcs. Never know tomorrow. Take me out of this world tonight. Oh, I bought a new non-oil, guys. When are we getting Titanicus? I have no idea. I have no idea. First time opening a new paint pot. Always a terrifying experience. Shame about the Primaris resisting Gene Seed Falls. That wanted all Black Dragon Primaris with bone spikes. That would have been very interesting. But nowhere is it ever stated that they are 100% resistant. Just that they don't really seem to know about them so much. Like, they can have flaws, just not so many. Admittedly, all of them, no. But some of them could. I don't remember the name of that one AOS Khorne character. Korgus Kull is his name. The guy from the box set. Korgus Kull. Do you mind if I base my Khornate Warband and force an apprentice to the Khorne dude Bloodbreaker killed? Not at all. If that's what you want to do, go for it. I mean, I never gave the character a name or any backstory apart from having an axe. So, by all means. Sold all your models and bought a car. Fair enough. That's fair enough. Record Titanica scale the Imperialis with the height of a 40k warlord. That would be a bit ridiculous given the usual scale of epic. I think that would be a bit ridiculous. The only AOS character that matters is Slambo. Thoughts on Rogel Dawn coming back? I'm kind of alright with him not coming back. Honestly, I'm kind of alright with him not. Something like 0.01% chance. So that's what? Maybe one per chapter? Actually, no. 1 per 10 chapters. Because like it's 1,000 per chapter, so 1% is 10, 0.1% is 1. So that's 1 per. What's 1 in 10,000? Wow. Have I read Dark Imperium? No, I haven't. I know I need to, really, because it's like kind of important, but I haven't really got a chance to get around to reading it because I've been in the wrong country all the time. I like the 40k literature, but I can't read it in French. Is the reason Belisarius was able to fix them because they have more time dedicated to it? Well, he has been at it for 10,000 years and had access to potentially some of the Emperor's notes or whatever he had, and he had the what's it called? That thing he's got that he uses to create the Primaris Marines. That thing, what he has got, I don't know its name. So maybe it is just a time thing that he's had time to eliminate the flaws and then improve on them over the past 10,000 years. It is quite possibly just a time thing. It's very important. Oh, I agree. It's just I just have to be in the right country to read it because I don't want to. Because I want my Dark Imperium, if I'm going to get it, to be something I can just look at and call up information from without having to really try and trawl through it, retranslate what I read and all that stuff. I need to be able to quickly skim read it for information at a glance, which I can't do if it's in French. Will you do vids with other YouTubers other than Alexis and 40k theories? I don't have a problem with doing stuff with other YouTubers. Like, I've done videos in the past with Warhammer. So both, so at the time of the General's Handbook, Warhammer 88.9 did a video on the General's Handbook. I've been on the Misanthropod with Snipe and Whip. Though their channel and mine don't always sync up in terms of what we would do as a collaboration. So like doing the podcast together was really good. And they've been on Adepts Podcasters, of course, several times. But it's a case of like a lot of what the channels that you're probably referring to do is either going to be its lore, which is not really the greatest place for collaboration apart from voice acting work, which I suck at, or it's going to be battle reports, which is very, very difficult to do, or it's going to be tactical stuff, and I'm way out of the game. Like, it would be good to do, and I'd love to work with some other people and do like as a discussion source, but either I feel my knowledge isn't up to it or whatever, I don't know. Like, if someone wants to talk to me and say, like, can we do a video together, I'll give it some thought, but it's one of those things, I'm not going to go out of my way for it because I kind of have enough going on without trying to dig out collaboration time in amongst everything else I'm already doing away from the channel. Yeah, I'm going to be watching, I am going to be watching the live Misanthropod tomorrow, assuming I'm not, like, unable to do so for some physical reason. Unless I'm completely unable to do so, I will be watching the Misanthropod. I will be there. I don't think it's going to be like live podcasters where I could gate crash it, but I'll be there. I haven't personally sent in any questions for Drama Matt, no, because I don't know. I could, but then I feel like I'd end up having a dig at Snipe, and I can just do that from the chat, so that will be fine. Co-op podcast with those guys. Outer Circle. I've not really watched any of their stuff. I think actually I might have come across the odd thing of theirs, but I haven't looked into it very hard. Did Belisarius have a hand in the 21st founding? We don't know. Do you think 25 founding was done with a trait of gene stock? I'm going with no. As per the core knowledge you brought up, if you want 200 points set aside, you have to mark the destroyer, and then 8 blood tithing back. That'd be fun. Try to gate crash. I'm not going to try and gate crash. If they say they're doing it as an open thing where people can join, then I will absolutely join. But I'm not going to gate crash the show because I don't want to ruin the show. Ask Snipe an AOS lore question. That would only work if I was actually... That would work if I was live because, like, it would be something I can just, like, then go off on a ranting corrector or whatever. But I don't think that'll work so well in that format. Well, like the code, yeah, Codex Compliant, I think is its name. Yeah, it's always good to go back and see the old stuff and see like, how it was done back in the day. But that special someone you find only once. Stay on the base. There you go. You can always ask them who's their favourite Adeptus Podcastus host. I think I'd actually lose to Rem. I'm not sure. I might actually lose to Remlays if I do that. Just what I was there for. You had me singing a prayer for someone I really could kill. Hopefully they'll do one of those old Chaos Book Slaves Darkness. Yeah, that would be fun. Like I'm not like you might even be able to like suggest it to them in like the comments of Codex and point and say, like, I don't know. I know you've obviously got to get it and stuff, but I'd love you to cover this one if you get a chance. Just be polite about it. They're good people. It'd be cool if Snipe and Whip plus Podcast did a D&D or Dark Heresy campaign. That would just be way too awkward to organise. Between time zones and having 5 people's timetables clear, it would just be extremely awkward to do. As fun as that sounds, I wouldn't have a clue what I was doing as well, bear that in mind. Like I've never played D&D or any games like that, so I'd be like stumbling blindly through it. Think of first founding chapters of contingency plan in case of total loss, or a first founding chapter like the Imperial Fist Lice Wall. Well, the Imperial Fists were able to recruit from their successors after the last wall. All the last wall chapters contributed a portion of their own strength to the rebuilding of the Imperial Fist. So, yes, I think. Yeah, I did briefly pop into Scari's stream the other day. Not that he probably knew it. I mean, like, I know I've only spoke to the guy once, but it was like, oh, hi. Didn't even know. It was like, oh, right, yeah. It was a complete non-recognition moment. That's fine. What are the Death Guard up to these days? Some of them are invading the Tau Empire. Some of them are probably screwing around with Ultramar. Some of them... The Death Guard are just around being a mega nuisance. Do you get the new 4K RPG ago when it comes out? I don't know, like, maybe, but I'm not, don't bank on it. Space War Successor chapters. I think that's now actually a thing, thanks to Primaris Marines. I do believe that is now a thing. In the lap of luxury. Where the Death Guard get their recruits? Check their codex. I'm not an expert. I'm not sure like what the process is for creating like a Plague Marine, other than like trying to give a Space Marine Nurgle's rot and seeing what happens. I'm not sure. How's Space Marines work given how they should reject the codex? I think we kind of need the Space Wolves Codex for that, because Ashes of Prospero I don't believe really went into it. So, best advice on that is just wait for the Space Wolves Codex to try and explain it. So running the GW shots and giving it a go. Pretty sure I'm arrogant enough for an ultimate Pathfinder. Yeah, go for it. If it's running, by all means. That sentence makes no sense. What's your opinion on Gork's Grin? Good name or is Mork salty? It's a good name. Hello. Absolute pins and needles of death. Ow. Right, I'm gonna let those washes dry for a bit. I'm not sure where you got pork salted from, but fair enough. What's your favourite town in reference to 40k you've encountered in something completely unrelated? I don't really think there is one I've come across that springs to mind anyway. Not in something completely unrelated. I can't think of anything. So there's a rumour box out with Death and Stormcast on the way called Soul War. I haven't heard anything of the sort, but I'm willing to run with it, though I'd rather see it between another factions. So, like an Elven Slanesh one, or a Death and someone who isn't Stormcast one. I don't know. I think Ross already the Primates feel about Reboot's new founding. Well, that assumes they even know. At the moment, they probably don't, because they're either not there or whatever. Necron's called the Great Rift, the flip just happened. I'd have to check Necron Coders to see if they actually have a name for it. We'll see. The term Grimdark is a great reference to 40k. I think Grimdark came out of 40k from like the Grim Darkness. Like, I think Grimdark is a phrase that the 40k community made. Maybe I'm just being a bit, self-righteous about that. It's going to currently have new Nighthaunt and a new chamber. Nighthaunt makes sense because of that black coach tease, but I don't see them adding a chamber. Okay, hang on for 30 seconds. Battle time. Are there any chambers that currently remain unsealed? That remain sealed. Come on. Work with me here. Yes, there are. So There's the strike chambers and there's the tempest chambers. The tempest chambers, 2 known, are the extremis and one of the auxiliaries, namely the vanguard. And other tempests are named on the roles and dedications, but so far nothing is known of their organizational function. These are known collectively as the unopened chambers, and one can only guess at the plans for them. They are the Logista chamber, the Covenant chamber, the Ruination chamber, and the Sacrosanct chamber. Given how Lion really didn't want Guilliman to rule Imperial Secundus because he thought Guilliman would make himself the new emperor, what do you think Lion's going to do when he sees Guilliman now? I don't know, but I really want to know. Oh yeah, that would make sense if it is due to the war in the Realm of Death. It's just like, I don't know if we need more Stormcast in the game. That's all. Like, I don't think we really need more Stormcast. And I know I'm saying that as a Stormcast player. Lorgar and Angon's still best bros, but the whole Demon Corn thing ruined it. I suspect the latter, because I doubt Lorgar's really friends with anybody, but there you go. Indeed, it was inspired by the Tactica of 40k. I expected it would be. Has the trait genes been purged? Is it still usable? Is it corrupt? And if it's kept? It's basically kept under lock and key, like sealed away for all of eternity, I think. I think that's all it's there for. It's just it's kept locked away for like all of eternity. Because they either couldn't destroy it, didn't want to destroy it, I don't know. Right, I think the washes have dried, and so I can do my highlights. Yeah, it can wait. But that's the thing, if it is Stormcast, it can wait. It can really wait. Yeah, it can't have been purged, because if it had, why would there be the whole debate about Core wanting to use it? Right, gold? Silver? Let's do... Oh, go away with your bloody energy warning. What do I do first? Let's do the gold first, because that's messier. Will we see more of the Chrome Worlds or Exodites? I find it unlikely, as much as I'd like them to do something with them. I'd like to see more, but I don't think we're going to get it. If I had to guess with the Sacrament Chamber, I think it's Sacrosanct is its name. Yeah, it's Sacrosanct, Logister, Covenant, and Ruination. The Sacrosanct probably makes the most sense. Or perhaps Covenant? Loud. Chaos Eldar would be fun, but I don't think they're ever going to do it. If the Genes is still there, then why not create Violence Bombs tailor-made more that Genes did or Papa Nurgle nerf it to an effectuality? Well, also, if they made it, used it, and someone got a hand on it, well, they could use it on the Astartes, and then all hell goes wrong. Chaos Eldar implied in the Death Guard decks. They've been around for a while. There's in the Soul Drinkers novels, there is a Drakari Slaneshi alliance. I know it sounds weird, but it was a thing. So Chaos Eldar have been around for a while, just they don't really do it in game. Probably the difference between a Khornate Eldar and a Drakari Witch would be probably in acrobatics. Acrobatics and grace, probably. Hesperax is a Ynnari. Not Slanesh, it's Ynnari. Unless you're talking about in like your army that you converted where you've used Lilith's model. Reference in the current book 2 and not swell with all the other Eldari groups. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Doesn't mean they're going to put them in the game. And yes, Drakari are not Chaos Eldar. Ynnari is debatable. Like, depends on whether you think Yniad is Slanesh 2.0. That's up to you. The Necrons just call the Maledicts in the Great Rift. Okay, good to know. If that's the case, good to know. Will Lamentis get Primaris? Their Penitent Crusade preclude them from that given the rules. If the Crusade is over, which it might be given the plots advance 200 years, they might actually be in line for reinforcement. Old law, right. Is there lore in the Idoneth Deepkin? Yeah. There's no... They're like sort of a underwater-based elven empire whose souls wither away, so they must capture souls of their enemies, to souls of other races to rejuvenate themselves. It's not like the Drakari, don't worry. I did a bit of a talk about it earlier on in here, so if you have any questions, ask away. The Sisters of Sigmar still exist. They haven't done the Devoted of Sigmar faction yet, but if they do still exist, then they will be in the Devoted of Sigmar faction, I suspect. Slanesh Elves, don't rule it out, but certainly don't rule it in. I don't know a book that has a soul grinder taking part in a fight. I don't actually, I'm afraid. I don't. Circumstances about to get rules at the same time. That means we have to wait over a year, or at least the best part of a year, for a Sister Silence book, when all the other factions will probably be done by the end of the year. I think that's a bit too long to wait. So I think we'll see the Sister Silence before that. Sister Sigmar. Maybe they will get something around the same time as Sisters of Silence. So they've got me at it now. As Sisters of Battle. I don't know. Maybe. Will we actually get an update soon? Yeah, I'm thinking we'll get Slaanesh certainly by the end of the year. I'm hoping that we get another Elven faction like Tyrians or Malerians, and then Slaanesh. Or maybe we get all the Elven factions and then Slaanesh over the next few months. That's a bit of a quiet hope of mine. There is the rumour of Summer of Slaanesh, although I can't really confirm it. Thing is that if they wanted to remove Slaanesh to tone the game down, then why would they let the Drukhari still exist in their full obscene way? Because they still do. The Drukhari is still as obscene as ever, and they're allowed to stick. So the most like have names like an before in the chapters they all knew. To my knowledge, they're all new names. But that's just to my knowledge. Will they now get a codex? I think they'll get something to get them out of the index form, but I don't know quite what form that will take. Keeper secrets get the same treatment as the Great Unclean One, and they don't make completely new name keepers. I'd like to see Inkari. That might work. I don't know if we'll get completely new or an old one returning, because we've seen examples of both. We've seen Rotigus, but we've then also seen Kairos, so... I think it'll probably be... if I were to guess, I think it's going to be a new one, but I can't really bank on that. Yeah, I don't think Slaanesh is going anywhere. I really don't. Actually, I want to dry brush those bits. Sigmar. Connection now at 4 pages long. The first two will just go by the other Eldari. Yeah, I mean, I got my 5th edition starter set when I was 12, so go away. Will the legions come back? Not in their old form, no. Larger chapters, maybe, but I don't think we're going to see legions. I don't. Also, yes, an Eldari person is defending Slaanesh. Lol, irony. Give it time, Slaanesh will explode. I really did not need that bloody image. I really didn't need that image. Slaanesh is extra unkillable because even the other Chaos Gods have obsessions, and defeating Chaos is an obsession. Plus, like, they had the perfect chance to write Slaanesh out of the game with Age of Sigmar, and they didn't. Keep that in mind. They had the chance to remove Slaanesh with Age of Sigmar, and rather than do that, sure, Slaanesh itself isn't around so much, but they've not just forgotten Slaanesh exists, and they're working it into a plot involving the elves. So, in their last great chance to remove Slaanesh from a game, they didn't take it. And we're getting Battle McCry back in the day. Yeah, I think I got half of McCry, because I think I got like the Gene Stealers, like 1 or 2 models from it, but nothing much. No, I've never needed the Ancient Doom special. Well, that's good. Hard time believing 1,000 Space Marines staying along. Well, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of chapters of them, bear in mind. Slaanesh is personally not the best thing in 40k. That's completely a personal opinion. I don't like Slaanesh, but yeah, that's just personal taste. Slaanesh requires change, which Tzeentch has under wraps. I suppose, but then, That's why Tzeentch is unstoppable, because change is inevitable. The new Necron Codex said the Imperium believes there are 1,000 Tomb Worlds have awoken, but the Eldari know those numbers are much greater, so how many Tomb Worlds are still asleep at the moment in lore? I have absolutely no idea. I don't think anybody knows. The number is probably very, very silly. It's probably a very big number. The Imperium is potentially 1 million worlds. Yeah. Space Marines are not easy to kill. Not even close. Their tabletop power is completely non-representative of how powerful they actually are. Yeah, there's about 1,000 chapters of 1,000 Space Marines. That's the sort of classic line. And will that warning just off? Please, just off. I can't even just like crop it out because it's a full screen cap. All the gods serve each other in certain ways. Tzeentch change, Nurgle, stagnancy and wanting things to be the same, going in loops. Khorne, violence. Of course there is. Heresy detector. I think Gilliman potentially rewriting the Codex is double or triple the number of Marines will cause a civil war. Not within the Ultramarines. Like, he is Robert Gilliman. They are in no. They have no reason to contravene his opinion. Especially if he says, look, the Codex doesn't work in its current form, we need to update it. Who are they to argue? So I don't think the Ultramarines especially are going to be a problem. And yes, there are also chapters like the Black Templars who don't exactly follow the rules. Covered Slime Marble, my Katachan video. Go watch that. Who's in charge of the Tau? Well, they basically created a hologram around that, and he's the spiritual leader still. As for who's in actual command, I believe it's the Ethereal Council overall, while Shadow Sun is still in charge of the military because she was frozen and woken back up again. Oh chat, oh chat. Because that is one of the core tenets of the Ultramarine, saying that it's wrong or needs updating would be like rewriting the Bible, and we both know how that went. Yes, but imagine if Jesus said that something in this book is not correct. Here's a better version that's more useful. The Bible's like the Bible's is a series of stories and mantras and things like that. The Codex is a strategic guide. It would be like Sun Tzu being resurrected and saying the art of war is not perfect. Here, let me change it a little bit to suit your needs. That's more what it's like. It's like the original author is changing it. I resent the choice of the word putting up. The French are fine. Hello. How long am I going to go for? Another hour? Maybe 2? I don't know. Nearly finished this model now. I'm kind of going a bit quicker than I was expecting. Then again, probably need to go back over the Idoneth and maybe talk about some other stuff in here. So, red, white, just red and white? Yeah, just red and white, I think. The man in the moon. And take it slow. And don't you know, I love the dreams will come true. So just close your Another story? Yeah, we could do that. Like, I could go over the Mal important story from today, once I've done the model. Sure. Sea turtles and eels and sharks. Oh yes, the Idoneth. Beast claws are good. Apparently they're really not too bad. Very fast, and the Stonehorn is an absolute mother trucker. I faced the Stonehorn before Beast Claw Raiders were a thing, and it was an absolute mother trucking monster. So I have no fancy of facing another one, even though I know I'm going to have to. How close to 40k 8th edition in AOS? Close enough that you'd recognise the similarity, but they're not identical at all. So all I can say is the best way to see the similarities and the differences is just to play it. Like, you can pick up the game and play it really, really easily. Like, you can do it for completely free. If you just have some proxy models in the AOS app, you can play the game for completely free. Now in this day and age, it would be fine, but like pre-Enlightenment Europe would just cause a religious schism like Protestants and Catholics in the UK. I don't know. If it was anyone but Gilliman, I'd agree with you. If it was anyone but Gilliman. But the fact it's Gilliman makes me think that even with like, the Pro Codex chapters, it will just go over. Oh, the Thunder Tusk. I'm not conflicted about the future of 40k. I don't know what it's going to be, and I'm eager to find out what the future is. I'm conflicted about what it's going to be in terms of what is it actually going to be as a thing. But in terms of like the future of it as a game system and its health, no, I'm not worried at all. With the way 40k is getting treated these days, I think it's in one of the healthiest places it's been in years. Why is Solemnus mobilising so important in the new Necron Codex? Because think about the stuff Trazen could have collected down the years. Lion. If I were to get another lower this Primarch, I'd want Lion. Cost of entry is kind of high. I'll agree with you. The cost of entry is kind of high for certain armies. But I mean, I start collecting in a codex about 75 quid gets you an army and the rules to play it. So the cost of entry isn't bad. But if you want to do something like beyond the basics, then yeah, you do have to pay for it. That's true. And yeah, start collecting in the battle forces help. It could always do with being a little cheaper, but you've got to consider like GW making a profit. All hobbies are expensive. That is true. Like, it would be nice if it could come down, but I accept why it costs what it does. I mean, paying €8 for White Dwarf yesterday was a bit steep. I mean, I bought yesterday a wash, a base, and a White Dwarf, and I paid €18. So like the models themselves are not the issue. I mean, paints could do with coming down. Yeah, sure. Paints probably are the best, but they're the easiest thing to source third party. As Rowan says, they're the easiest thing to go third party on. If you want to go all Citadel with your paints, it can get expensive. I'll agree on that. But you can also get like painting sets that might help to alleviate it. I don't know. Growing some Primaris soon as heavy support vehicles to round out a homebrew. Nice, sounds good. Got my cousin Stark collecting Space Marines for his birthday. Awesome. It wasn't just the cost of entry with Fantasy. The problem with Fantasy was also that it didn't work very well at small costs. That was the problem. Like, 40k works at 500 points. Fantasy just kind of didn't. It didn't benefit from those really small games, and that was what killed it. It was expensive to get into, like 40k was, but it had its learning curve was much steeper, and it didn't always work so well at those low costs. Some of the starter sets feel a bit powerful. Yeah, well, that's the nature of the beast. That is the nature of the beast, I'm afraid. Some things are just too powerful. In Crusade, what does Quicksilver Swiftness do? Don't play Stanesh. I don't either. Is Crusader a tech better than the current 40k tech? Yes. For Raven Guardian, I'll sort 2 cans and be trying to fend off my Necrons. Nice. Sounds fun. One with this ability will always fight first. Ah, it always fights first. Right. Strike team or breach team? Depends on what sept you're running. If you're running something like Farsight or Viola, you might want breaches. Strike is probably the better overall, but breaches definitely have a place, especially today. Pulse carbines. If I went strike, I always went pulse rifles, but yeah. Is Skyros really as bad as he's made out to be in TTS? Probably not. He is a bit of a Mary Sue, and he is rather annoying, but he's not that level annoying. They sing, oh, when you glad you're single. Also can confirm death marks are silly. As in silly powerful? Lily Bell, oh Lily Bell, oh I may have done some food, why I never won. Both Eldari and Necrons have access to the web, but does any other faction or less important race have access to the webway? Possibly. I can't tell you off the top of my head. I'd need to go and look into that. Also, the Necron Axis is rather sporadic because Dolmen Gates aren't permanent. Generally, they can be sealed off and stuff and detected. Always been an advocate of carbines. Yeah, like, they are cool and they do have a use. It's just like if you're playing strike teams, you're probably playing defensively. Like if you want to play offensively, you play breaches. I don't know. I've always so if breaches didn't exist, then I probably would be a bigger advocate for carbines. But breaches exist. See you later. Silly powerful. Wiped out a Terminator's whole squad. Wow. God, ow. Ha. Alright. Assembly time. Let's put it. Let's put it. Necrons are stupid. 20 warrior blood to 2, had auto pass morale, +1 to reanimate, and a go start. 2 turns in a row, it went from 1 to 2 to 17 to 80. Oof. Ouch. You have my sympathies. Anyone not running mixed termies is doing it wrong. I present to you the argument I always use with this situation, which is, what about fun and flavour? I know I'm not a tournament player, you might have guessed that by now, but... Feeling the Necron Salt. Welcome to being a Tau player in 7th edition. No matter what you did. Arcs aren't as good as they were last edition, but they are still beyond dumb. When a Necron player says his component is beyond dumb, then yeah, I'm inclined to believe them. You know, just one Thunderhammer Storm Shield, he lets you so correct. You also fit as a fantasy player burning his army after AOS. I didn't see it, but the fact that that happens actually annoys me. That actually annoys me. Even now. Like, I know people were salty towards Sigmar, but for God's sake. Just, if you don't like it, sell it. Straight into Rapid Fire and Electricity, straight to Set Tenor. It depends on your Set Tenor. That's just it. If you're playing Farsight, where you get bonuses for being up close, or you're playing Viola, where you get benefits to getting up close, then maybe you want to play something else, like Breaches. It depends on the trait. Attacks by / army will be 30 units is 91 attacks, 26 is 41. Oof. Warhammer Termies at all. Night Size got a buff, Catan got a buff. Yeah, I've heard the Necron, the Catan has had a nice boost. Like, a nice, fair boost. Well, they're fair, they're right. What's happening? Some people are being salty, and other people are just rambling. And I'm building, because I've finished my painting. Destroyers and Wraiths also got a buff, good to know. Custodians in law, more or less powerful than Primaris? More. The Custodians could wipe the floor with the Space Marines. Salty about Necrons for the most part, I think. It seems to be the consensus. They're just in general Necron salt at the moment, because they're apparently a bit silly. Have you had a chance to look over Necromunda? I've looked over the minis, but I'm not fussed about getting into it, if I'm honest. I'll let someone else explain. I think it might have had another 0, I'm not sure. Lid. Yeah, they're the Emperor's personal guard for a reason, yeah. Nightbringer is now the single most feared mod in my meta. 2+ to basically nuke infantry on top of powers and personality traits. Lovely. Worst piece of Lord. Oof. I don't even know. Like, I've tried my best to work with everything I find. I can't think of all the top of my head. Talk about everything that Necrons can do. Immotate being able to use my we've done twice in the same unit. Tesla Immortals being on a 4-up, it's 3 shots, not 1. Are you sure that that's rules as written, or is that just rules as interpreted? Because that does seem extremely silly. I like them but Eldaron. Someone's gotta give, someone's gotta give, someone's gotta give. Right. Perfect. So, model's done. Not that anybody asked, but 1 Knight Vexilor with head swap. Loving walking through their cover to get to objectives. Yeah, that's the Nephrak. That's Nephrak's trick. Thank you. It's quite a cool model. I wasn't quite sure how it was going to go because it could have been a bit of a pain, but it's actually been pretty good. Been playing Mefrit. Yeah, Mefrit's the most powerful probably. Yes, I've gone with the Meteoric standard rather than the Pennant of the Stormbringer. So basically it just gets a one use only mini nuke as opposed to a 1 use only teleport ability. Boring. Neat. Now sea turtles. Rowan, could we have a straw poll? I'm joking. Yeah, Methra had to be the most powerful. It just did. Like, you saw those rules, it just had to be the most powerful. Too dark. Do it later. Yeah, I still don't know whether I want to go Daughters of Cain or Idoneth. That's just it. Like, as much as I quite like the look of the Idoneth, I have some Daughters of Cain and I could easily go in on that just as much. So it's like, I don't know what I want to do. I really, really don't. And I'm conflicted. Methra is wrong. I really think the StarTech Warlord trade puts them on top, not to mention a horrendous Novok Alpha strike. Oh, it does work. Ow. Fair enough. Ow. Agent's Effect, I think that's really hilarious. I don't know how actually viable it is, but I think it's just utterly hilarious. Maybe the Deepkin will be a debuff army to make them the tough elves, still glass but hard to hit. I don't know. I just need to see their rules. So next week we hopefully get the previews, and then when I get the book on the 21st, it's going to be fascinating. I really just want to know. Oh, hello. Who was saying about a chamber earlier? Look, I don't know if... What's the source on this? Oh. Actually, if that's... I don't know if I want to show you this, because it's... Oh, do I want to show you this? Je ne suis pas ton frère, mais adieu. Oh. Nimor rules that Marathi 40k, we can turn someone for something small and a huge threat later. Thing is, it's kind of hard to do that because of the way the universe kind of works. Like, you have that with like demonic possession, but it's kind of random. Oh, do I want to... I don't know if I want to show you that, because that's potentially like leaks. Because that's leaks. Yeah, take it with a... Alright, take this with a whack of salt. And as well as that. I'm not sure how well that's showing up, but... That was apparently leaked on the German Amazon site by mistake, apparently. It's not Idoneth, that's a Knight of Shrouds. It's a Knight of Shrouds. Yeah, to give you context, it's a Stormcast with a staff or stave of some sort and a massive plumed helm with, I can't tell what's in their other hand, fighting against a Knight of Shrouds. And at the back, there's another one of these Stormcasts with a stave. Looks like lightning crackling from his hand. Imitex gone from unusable to the most OP, and from the 200 points my Neckers have got strong one more time to buy 20 more Tezra Mult to go on my 20 Gauss. Fair enough. It's a new Stormcast unit, or there was a talk earlier up in the chat about, you might not have been here, about Soul War, a rumoured boxed game that will introduce a new Stormcast chamber. Eh? No, it's a death unit. It's not every picture Stormcast. This staff thing has got like a banner top up here, which is very different. And the helms remind me of the Vanguard Raptors in a way, but way more exaggerated with the curvature. Favorite kind of pizza? Oof, I don't know actually. Don't even know anymore. I had a 4-meat pizza the other week, but I got food poisoning off that, so I've put me off that. I don't know if they're going to be Stormcast Wizards, and that's something that's very interesting. Are they going to be Stormcast Wizards? Because Stormcast don't have wizards. That would be very interesting. Yeah, more Stormcast to buy. Well, here's the thing. I have Idoneth and Daughters of Cain on my mind. Stormcast can wait. Still, yeah. I mean, if they come out, like, if they're out on the shelf before I leave France, I might get a unit of them. I don't know, to see how they feel. If I like the look of them, but I don't know, maybe not. But yeah, when it comes to September, I am going all in on either Deepkin or Daughters. One of the two, and I don't know which yet, because I've got 4,500 points at Stormcast now. I can kind of wait. It's not a battle tome. It's a novel by Josh Reynolds. That's what it said. It's a novel by Josh Reynolds. And so it will probably, hopefully, lead into a Night Haunt or Spirit Host type faction as well. That's what I'm hoping. And I agree, we don't need more Stormcast. Not for another 12 or 18 months. A new box game set coming in May. We'll have to see on that. I mean, May's on the... We'll hear about that officially very, very soon. Deepkin have made me consider AOS. I'm glad. Like, the more people we get into AOS, the better. Don't talk about straw polls. We don't want to trigger Rowan too hard. Don't ever let me go. If it was Battle Tome, it would still be more lore, but yes, I take your point. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, bloody hell. Oh no. Oh no, you've awakened the sleeping mod. There's not a New Orc Codex right now, we'd have heard about it. If we do a straw poll, then while it's running, I'm going to take a break. Like, I've been going for 2.5 hours at this point, I haven't had a break yet. You're joking, right? You know what a straw poll is. Just a vote. Yes. Despite the fact that Rowan called himself Straw Poll Master for a bit, no, it doesn't like him. No, I won't be looking it up, thank you. If there was a New Orc Codex on the way, we'd have heard about it. Even though I don't currently plan playing AOS, but I think I'll buy the Slanesh Battle Tome when it comes out. Yeah, absolutely. Like, considering you already have the models, you really have no reason not to. And to be fair, some of the if they get multiple Slanesh models, they'll transfer over. So it's just buying one book for 20 quid and then, or regional equivalent to 20 quid, and then you've just got it forever. So I just think that's not a bad idea. Why am I yawning? I'm really proud of that Vexler. I've actually done a head swap on him. I've swapped his helmet for a Decimator Prime helm. Is it is that actually the helm of a Decimator Prime, or is that just a random Decimator? Oh, sorry. Ow. No, that is the Prime. Yes, I saw your quote earlier on Twitter. I saw that photo quote. I saw that. That was cool. Also, hi. Alexis is mainly mod so I can keep track of when she turns up. That's all. Oh, go away with that stupid warning. Yeah. Do. How long have we been going for? Just over 2.5. All the Slanesh talk. Sure, if that's what you want to call it. We have elves that also know about Slanesh. That's as much Slanesh as you're getting out of me. And please don't have a fight between my mods. I really could do without it. Beastball Zinch. Not in AOS it doesn't. Not in AOS it doesn't. It's fine. Random caps happen. Right. Get out of here. A few bikes and some seekers. Is that what you're working on then, bikes and seekers? I mean, I will, to be fair, if we get a Slanesh release in summer or whenever we get it, I will be really interested to see what's in it. I do want to know what they're going to get. No. No, very true, Ron. But yes, whatever. That's beside the point. Yeah. So is there anything particularly up for discussion? I mean, I know I did the Idoneth much earlier, and if people want me to go back over some of the stuff or ask any questions they missed earlier, then by all means I'm very happy to do that. Or if there's something else that's come up or whatever, because I'm not really going to be doing any more hobby, I don't think. Like, I finished this Knight Vexilor, who I'm very, very happy with, but I don't think I'm going to be doing anything more at the moment. I've only got Paladors, yeah. I'm kind of not looking forward to doing those Paladors, because like the Paladors last time were a nightmare to assemble. So Custodes, that's an option. That's an option. No, I'm not stressed at all. Actually, I'm quite chill. I've certainly been more stressed before. Like I've got most of my notes written up at this point for lectures. I'm getting on with it. I'm getting there now. And besides, I'm going to be out of here in only 2 months, 2.5 months, and then I'm out of here. So it's all good, man. It's all good vibes, all chill. And yes, also 2.5 hours with you lot is slightly stressful at times. More Idoneth? Okay. Or Necrons. To be fair, I don't really know my Necrons well enough, so if you guys want to have a discussion, it will show up on the chat. Yeah, we're fine. We weren't heated on the podcast at all. We weren't at 100%. None of us were, I don't think. So it just wasn't our best showing. It's the way it goes. I'll agree. Necro's got a nice melee edition with Novok. I'll agree with that. I will agree with that. In the words of Monty Python, yes, get on with it. So this final year projects. I'm more looking forward to getting... Part of me is kind of like, I'm just looking forward to getting out of this country. But that's a bit harsh. I definitely miss the home education. For all the crap you can give UK's universities, God, such an improvement for physics. Such an improvement. What's your opinion on the Deepkin models? What do you think you'll get, or do all of them strike your fancy? Right, let's go through them then. One bit at a time. Oh, I was at home, kind of. What chamber are they? No, they're not animals of the Helm and Hammer. They look like animals of the Helm and Hammer, but they're not. So going through the range, briefly, we have the 2 types of Namati. We have the Fangmora Eels, of which we have, again, 2 types. I think we have Swordsman and also Spearman. We have the Shark Heavy Cavalry with the missiles. We have the Leviathans, which is the giant turtles. We then have the Soul Wardens, which are the guys with the Kraken. The Soul Scryers, which is the guy who looks like a Gene Stealer cult guy. The Soul Renders, who is the guy with the giant fish hook. The Tide Casters, which is the woman caster thing. And then we've got the other Lords of the Akelian on the Deep Mare, which is the big giant fish seahorse thingamajig, and then we have the Eidolons, which is the giant tidal wave dude. I do like most of the races. The Namati I'm coming round to, and the Eels are all right. Like, I really like the Deep Mares, I really like the Eidolons, I like all the heroes with the possible exception of the Tidecaster. So they're a good range. But I don't know, like, the problem is, like, how willing would I be to get enough Namati and stuff to make it work, is my question. The franchise I've had, no, they're not. They're really not. Which guys shield reflection strat. These dissertations aren't so bad, it only hurts. Yeah, we have like a research project instead of dissertations. We don't do dissertations in 4th year masters at Manchester. At Manchester we don't do it. Most of College University at the moment is kind of to teach, actually, is to teach physics. I know that seems a stupid thing to say as a YouTuber, but hey, what do you know? Deepkin gives me nice models to convert. Yeah, I think you'll certainly find some good potential for your armies. I'd agree. Doom Turtle. Why has it got the nickname Doom Turtle? I like it, but yeah. What EC Lord Commanders? No, they're the giant tidal wave guys. They're the giant tidal wave dudes. One of whom is a beat stick, and the other is a buffer. So yeah, the range is good. Like, none of it is bad. None of it is bad. It looks to be more of a cavalry elf army. I agree with that. They're going to have a lot of cavalry, but whether their infantry is going to be enough to make the army work is another question. The octopus itself, does it have a name? It's called an octar familiar. So it's an octar and it's a familiar. So that's what it is, and it belongs to the Soul Warden, which is the dude with the scroll. All hail the Doom Turtle. I feel like if I get an Idoneth army now, I have to get a Doom Turtle. Because, yeah. How the Deepkin play in the battlefield, we don't know. I'm guessing they're going to be a glass cannon who rely heavily on speed and magic. That's like the impression I get, is that it's going to be about speed and it's going to be about magic. And they're still going to be flimsy as flip because they're elves. Convert the Doom Turtle into the Disc World. Oh God, that would be a fun thing to do. That would be fun indeed. What has been set into motion cannot be undone if I go Idoneth. That's the thing. If I go Daughters of Cain, I avoid the Doom Turtle for probably at least another semester. Sounds like Magic Drakari. But not in terms of like anything lore-wise at all, and I get why people get Drakari vibes off them, I do. Oh God. Oh, for God's sake. You know what? I'm going to leave you to your memes, go to a very quick break, get some food, because it's nearly 9 o'clock and I haven't actually eaten since lunch. So I'm going to take a quick break, probably for about 5 minutes, and I'll leave you to your chicanery. I'll be back in a bit. And we're back. So, what did I miss? Memes, and memes. Okay, memes. Good. I had a feeling it was memes. There we go, I missed memes. I did say I'll leave you to your memes, so fair enough. I left meme. I told you could meme. You memed. Now we're back. Stop the memes. Ah, dear. Yeah, I missed out on memes when I am the least memey of all the memes. I didn't have much really. I just got like a quick snack, so it was nothing much. But yeah, it was good. Just needed to top myself up to get me through the next hour. I don't know if Doom Turtle is just a meme now, which is sad if Doom Turtle has become a meme already. Oh, God. I shouldn't have left. I leave you for 5 minutes, maybe 7 at most, and you do this? God damn it, chat. God damn it. Whatever. You should do Idoneth because they seem to have better wizards, they make better allies for your Stormcast if you want to in future. Yeah, kind of. Like, the Idoneth are both going to give me cavalry, and a lot of cavalry, monsters, which is nice, and more than one, and magic. They're going to have that in spades. They won't have bulk, but they don't need it. However, I've seen the magic of the daughters, and bloody hell, it's fun. It's hilarious. The Daughters of Cain hit like an absolute brick. Like, Jesus Christ, 10-ton truck, glass nuke launcher, actual glass nuke launcher. And also with the Melisai and the Kinnerai, I keep the speed and I get some actual power and range support that I wouldn't get in mortal wound output. So there's arguments both ways, and Marathi is a monster. You like how the shrine for the daughters is? It seems kind of bad. I don't know how powerful the Bloodrack Shrine, the Cauldron of Blood are. I've always just used the Cauldron because I've always just had one. And it's always been alright. But, I don't know. I've not really used them, and I certainly haven't used them in the new move, in the new daughters to say for sure. Doom Turtle is a meme until you buy one. Great, so I have at least 5 months of memes. Great. Or at the very least 3 months of memes. It's at the bare minimum I have 3 months of memes. Fine. Fine. Might get one to convert into a Tombstalker. That would be a very interesting conversion. MOM? Are we talking about Marathi here. I faced the Tombstalker once in the Index. It was alright. I'm not saying it was my... Yeah, it was alright. Just alright. If I'm going to buy a Blood Coven, what am I going to do with the Shrine? Maybe a terrain feature. A terrain feature is your best bet. Maybe create something from the Blood Rack Shrine, like the Pool of Blood and things like that. Maybe it's a bit large to do a Slith from the Blood Rack Medusa, and then use the Cain statue maybe as an avatar, or something like a corrupted avatar or something like that, or just as a terrain piece. I've seen some really cool terrain pieces done. I don't know why you must disappoint me so. It is... You are the ones who disappoint because you are my chat and that is what you do. Go away. Oh yes, Marathi wrecked that great uncle one, I remember you saying in a previous chat. Oh, I get it now. These find something convert into flayed ones. Oof. You're going to struggle on that one, I think. You're going to... Mandrakes? Maybe? Yeah, flayed ones are not an easy conversion option. I mean, the zombies from fantasy would kind of work. They're a bit different scale and too fleshy. Not sure. Really not sure. Oh dear. I had some fine cast flay ones. I never tried painting them, but Incubi conversion? Well, actually, the Namati from the Idoneth have got the glaives that you probably would want, or something akin to the glaives that you could use as the claves. As what you use for the actual bodies, Harganeth, maybe something like Blackguard or Harganeth Executioners would be... Yeah, Harganeth Executioners seem like a good bet. Yeah, Harganeth Executioners are not a bad bet. Can we talk about the Pirate Narwhal Rider? That would be the High King of the entire race. What's his name again? What's his name? High King Volturnos. Amongst all the Achillean kings, none is as feared or respected as Volturnos, the High King of the Depths, the Lord of Ionrak? Volturnos was the last of the Sithai still alive, and he remembers, and we know, or he knows, that his soul was the first saved from Slaanesh. So he is the first Idoneth, and the last of the original left alive. A seasoned warrior, an excellent translation to inspire his troops, whether they come from Ionrak or from another enclave. Armed with his saber Astra Solus and with the magic shield Caelith, weapons offered by Teclis, Volturnos rides the deep mare Uasal, a prince of its race. So there you go. He is a guy with eye patch. Is the High King of the Idoneth, the first soul ever saved from Slaanesh. I saw the comments, by the way, so it's fine. I did note that. I didn't reply to it, but I did note that you'd made a calculation error from the comment you left. So thank you for pointing that out. It's not a narwhal, it's a deep mare. It's one of the very few creatures at the depths willing to bond with the Idoneth, willing to consent to be ridden by the Idoneth. We don't know much more about it right now, but it's one of, as in what a Deepmare is and why they work with the Idoneth and stuff, we don't know yet. As for why, it's probably as much as a status symbol as anything else. And its power and its speed and other things. So that's something you can make a Mastodon song out of. I don't know what that means. Actually, what's really fun about the Idoneth that I've actually noticed is that you have the 3 factions, which is the Isharan, the Akelian, and the Namati. The Namati are your infantry, the Isharan are all infantry heroes, and then the Akelians are all your cavalry and your other heroes. It just makes sense. So legendary to compare to Vander's Hammerhand. Hope he stacks up to that powerhouse. We'll see how big he is. Like, he could stack up to Marathi or the Greater Demons. We don't know yet. Are the Turtles the only big monster vehicle the Deepkin got? No. They also got the Deepmares, which are quite big. And yeah, it's mainly the Deepmares would also count. Because like for a sense of scale... Can I get a good image of the 2 next to each other? That's not a good one. That's not a good one. That's not a good one. It's hard to get a good grasp on what's a good scale for them next to each other because they're all taken from wonky angles. Actually, that's not a bad one. So back here, in this image, yeah, you can sort of see they're a similar sort of height. Is there no way to get Korgraths outside the starter boxes? Not sure. Yeah, I know you can't get Lord Relictors outside the starter box. I don't know about Korgraths. I haven't seen a Korgrath up for sale outside the starter box though, so you might be right. Wrong way. Vander stacks up well against Greater Demons. Good to know. Cape guy looks amazing. You mean the Eidolon of Mathlin? I'm going to end up calling that guy Matlin. I know I am. Like, Mathlan just doesn't roll off the tongue. I'm going to call him Matlin. I really am. He's just going to be Matlin to me. Which is kind of annoying. But yes, that's the Eidolon. And there's 2 forms. The Storm aspect and the Tide aspect. One is a buff, one's a healer. No. Yes, that song is evil. Shove off. So I quite like Korgraths. Yeah, my friend has got, Kieran's got like 3 or 4 of them. Most of which have been slightly converted in one way or another because that's just what he does. I'd love a Space Force Thousand Suns box, but we're never gonna get it. We actually no 40k box set. No, we're never gonna get it. We're just not. Sounds fun, but we're never gonna get it. No way. That battalion that gives 8 base attacks and the ability to deal +1 damage on a 5+ is... Which battalion is that again? Which battalion is that again? Oh, the Korgrath one. Oh yeah, I know the one. Vaguely. Supposedly Wolves vs Black Legion. I haven't heard anything about that. I'll be honest, I have not heard anything of that order. We've already got Prospero usable enough. 30 basic Marines with bolters and very few other special weapon options. 5 Terminators who don't really fit particularly with Wolves and not very compatible. And then Armament model, when there's plenty of those. one Wolf Lord model that's kind of okay, and then Custodian Scissors of Silence. It's not bad. It's no Calth, but it's not bad. Calth would be better. If you want to get a 30k box set for 40k, just get Calth. Unless you especially want the 30k guys, Gygor and Armin, just get Calth. Wolf Sisters vs Slanesh box of 40k. I find that extremely unlikely. If I'm honest, I find that extremely unlikely. Cool it might be, but I find it extremely unlikely. Count his life. Given how the Necron rumours worked out, then maybe. I wouldn't rule it out, I just say unlikely. That's all. Just unlikely. But hey, you never know. And we've crossed 3 hours and a bit because we had the technical difficulties at the start. Still can't wait for Stormcast Burst Death. There's more stock. I put a bit more stock in that now after that leak I saw earlier. As for when we'll get it, I have no idea. Hopefully we get more destruction before then. To be fair, we've known that Advent set up a shop in a lot of Tomb Worlds. True. Maybe if the Codex then comes out, unlikely but can dream. Yeah. Just unlikely. Even before Space Force Codex is the most broken Imperial book in 8th. I wouldn't even be that shocked. What is the average citizen's life in the Imperium like? Crap. Probably very, very crap. Did a 2k doubles turn in last night? Oh, go on. Deary me. It's going to be 14 units in the battle tome. Okay. 2 Namati, 4 Isharan, 2 Eidolons, Turtle, Shark, Eel. Hang on, I need to run that calculus again. Right. Tuna Marty, eel, shark, turtle. Then we have 2 Eidolon variants, 2 Deep Mare variants, 4 Isharan, and second eel variant? Possibly second eel variant. 1.5k Grey Knights, 0.5k Wolves, okay. Honestly, I hope these bases will get unique primaries options, don't bank on it. I've now finished each Exalted Greater Demon, awesome. What is those Benny Hill moment? I have no idea. Like, Remlaze is the person to go to for like slightly weird and interesting things. I'm not the person to ask, I'm afraid. Now, what's the difference between a Bloodthirster and an Exalted Greater Demon of Khorne? There's a difference. Just a powerful Bloodthirster, isn't it? Or am I missing something? I might be missing something. Wonder if the Elves of the Free Cities will get an army. I'm very interested to see how they'll do that. Like, are they going to give battle tomes to the Swifthawk agents and the Scourge privateers, or are they just going to be grouped under Elves of the Free Cities? I don't know. When will Orcs get some love? If you're talking 40k, probably before the end of the year. I can't say any more than that, unfortunately. Against Cult Nids. Ouch. You know, Vantage can take a light for his mount because it's not an item. A light? A light's only available to Knights of Zero, like certain heroes. Yeah. Interest on War Scroll Builder. Right. That Demon Hammers also kill tanks pretty well. Yep, no surprises there. 136 pages. How long is my daughter's book? Well, the Free Cities be a mix of elves, dwarves, and humans. Maybe. How long is my daughter's battle town? Hang on. Yeah, that's 136. The daughter's one is only 88. Only 88. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's more units in the daughter's battle tome. And the thing's 88 pages. There's 15 units for 88 pages, and there's 14 units of Idoneth, and the book's 136? Bloody hell. That book is going to have so much extra in it. Like, from lore and stuff. That's ridiculous. Also, I'm going to verify that thing about riders. The lights, the mystic lights, are only for Lord Castellan's, Lords Veritans, and Knights of Zeros. And there's some for totems. And there's armor, artifacts, and weapons. There's not one for mounts. That's just traits. It's on the... What? I don't know what you're referring to. I honestly don't. Yeah, hopefully lots and lots of Idoneth lore. That's what I'm hoping for. And Elven lore in general. That's what I want. More and more lore, please. So when will you start your Drukhari army with Deepkin, Mandrakes and Doom Turtles as raiders? The Drukhari thing is just like an interesting idea. I don't think I will actually do it. It's just a fun thought experiment I had. Like I part of me is tempted, but the fact that Deepkin and Daughters are both around, and there's also the fact I have Tau and Orcs will be along in the not too distant future, most likely, means that they are not going to be top of the list as much as it's tempting and a fun thought experiment. I don't think I will be going for it. Emperor's Children, Thousand Sons, Wolves got massacred, hardest gate, that's Armin v Crow. Ouch, that sounds unpleasant. I'd expect Armin to beat Crow in a straight fight, just because of the lack of rend on the Blade of Antwerp. Page 100. Alright. Page 100. The seeds of the Stormcast Eternals are champions of order in themselves, staunch allies of the Stormhurst diddly diddly dee. If your Stormcast Eternals army, i.e. with the Stormcast Eternals allegiance, includes any heroes riding Dracos, Star Drakes or Griff Chargers, you can choose to identify the exceptional traits of one of these beasts. Declare which mount is exceptional and pick a trait that best matches the backstory of your hero from the relevant table below, aka off to the side. Alternatively, you can roll the dice on the relevant table to randomly determine which trait the mount has. You may choose one additional mount to have exceptional traits for each War Scroll battalion in your army. The same model cannot have more than one trait. At what point does this give you a light? It gives you a trait to your mount that is a buff to either a Dracoth, a Star Drake, or a Griff Charger, but it is not a light. That is an ability for the Knight of Zeros, the Lord Castellant, and the Lord Veritant. Unless I'm missing something. As it turns out, Hammer Hand on Crow when he charges is good, and his smite is always dumb. Lack of AP does hurt, but the 125 points, it's worth it. Okay, good to know. Be afraid of Castellan Crow. He rides one, it's not an item, it's an ability. Lithe Limbed, +1 move. Savage Loyalty, D3 mortal wounds and a 4+ when they die in the combat phase. Keen Clawed, wound rolls of a 6 in the combat phase for the mount are at Rend 3. If this hero suffers an attack from a damage characteristic greater than 1, roll a dice on a 5+, you only take 1. That is nothing like any of the lights. This hero's Draco Storm Breath ability has a range of 16 rather than 12. Add 2 to the attack characteristic of this hero's Draco's Claws and Fangs if there is another model. Vandus isn't in the book. Is he? Is Vandus even in the damn book? Vandus isn't even in the book. Like, yeah, you can give his Dracoth a buff. Yes, you can. Because it can have a Dracoth trait. But it's not a light. Different thing. Which one is the jumpy Stormcast HQ? There's 2. The Knight Venator is the Archer. The Knight Azeros is the one with the lantern. Yeah, there's 2 of them. And then it's just that the lights are an actual item you can give, so that's why I got confused. Yes, you can give the Dracoth a trait to make it better. Yes. He's the Stormcast Eternals hero riding a Dracoth. Of course he can have it. Unless we're completely on different wavelengths here. Seriously, go to the back. Van der Sammerhand is not in this book. Aaron has 3 of, plus a 3 of him on, which is Warlord, so AB would do nothing. Fair point. Yeah, Van der Sammerhand is not in here. He might be in the General's Handbook, but he's not in here. And yes, it is done. The legendary that can take a buff. Well, I don't know if he can. That's the thing. It's like because he's not in here, it doesn't say. It's just like he is a Stormcast. Like, rules as written, he should be able to take that buff. I don't know if he actually can because I haven't seen his war scroll and his particular rules because they're not in here. And because they're not in here, I don't know. I don't know. He might not be able to, and I might be completely wrong. All I can say is that that's what it comes across as to me. Semi-final was Harlequins, that was close, but they're not really scary unless you kill their transports. One thing I've got to stay always is doing Stormcast. Too sweet. To be fair, it's not a surprise though that Stormcast are a very easy army to pick up. Like, even I picked them up, so I can understand why people would go with them. Only lost against Dark Angels Blade does hit too hard, move too fast. I see. Never mind, I forgot about spells. He can. Lord of Chaos is not in this as inch, but can be used. The Stormcast chambers that we have available to play at this point are the Warrior Chamber, which is your Liberators, Paladins, Lord Celestant, Knight Questor, Knight Heraldor, etc. You then have the Extremis Chamber, which is your Dracoths and your Star Drakes. And then you have the Vanguard Chamber, which is your Lord Keylor and everything with Vanguard in its name. So Paladors, Raptors, and Hunters. Warrior basically makes up everything else. We also have 3 or 4 as yet unopened chambers. Sacrosanct, the Covenant, Ruination, and I've forgotten the 4th one. Balls. Sacrosanct, Ruination, Covenant, Logister. That's it. Not sure which I'm going to go after Bloodbound. It's a toss up between Deepkin and a mix with Sylvaneth and Deepkin. Well, we need to check if the Deepkin even ally with the Sylvaneth, so I'd hold off with that anyway. Make sure that they can ally with Sylvaneth once they get their battle tome. If they can, great. If they can't, tough. As for whether you should mix them up, the Sylvaneth will give you some bulk in the form of the tree men, the treekin, whatever they're called, and the other trees. Well, actually, or the bigger trees like the Kurnoth's Hunters and the Dragon Hammerdreth and stuff. Give you a bit of bulk and a bit more magic. But I don't know. What are they in the lore? The Vanguard Chamber are your scouts and also your hunters. The Extremis Chamber are your heavy cavalry designed to deal with the biggest monsters. And the Warrior Chamber are your front line, the main warriors of the Storm Host. As for the others, we have no idea at the moment. We only have their names. Admittedly, that was a very shorthand explanation, but it's close enough. As we were going to learn Death Company builds versus Elite Grey Knights and most of the old Stark 13 Wolves. Yeah, I can sort of see why you lost. Because, ouch. James started is called Anvils of the Heldenhammer. Oh, I like the Anvils. The Anvils was the army I was going to start until I found the Sons of Malice. They do look good. They are quite cool, the Anvils of the Heldenhammer. Lots of paladin, lots of ancient heroes in their ranks, so and they've got quite a brooding aspect to them. They're quite sinister, so some people quite like them for that. And it's a very, very, very simple paint scheme, like even more simple than my Sons of Malice. It's just black and gold, nothing else. Name's chosen for a Blades of Khorne Warband Oath. Oh, I have no idea. Like you could come up with some stuff. It depends on what you want them to do. Like something violent, something blood related, or something like that. Story behind them, where they come from. Sigmar created them. There's not much more to it than that. Like, the Storm Hosts were created by Sigmar following the Age of Chaos and the taking over of the mortal realms by the forces of Chaos. He seized up mortal champions from across the realms, reforged them in lightning. That created the Stormcast as a whole, the Stormcast Eternals, and that primarily at the time I think was the Warrior Chamber. Was there any further explanation? Where's my bloody battle tome? There it is. There was something about the that was great on the bird, guys. Right. There was something about why the Extremis Chamber was created. So the Extremis Chambers were mustered for the assault on the All Points. So they're basically designed for. They were created to give them a chance to prevail against the towering monsters, mutated warriors, and demons from the realm of chaos. Yep, low video tomorrow as always. See you later. Such formation was ordered and said to the greater demons that force to lead any attack or cleanse any battlefield. Yeah, basically. As for Vanguard, does it say why they were created? No, not really. But yeah, basically it's just mortal champions taken up by Sigmar to fight against Chaos. That's the long and short of them. Open to fight Zinch. Was it? That would make sense. In some ways, it's sort of like a scout and a hunter and a discoverer of the weaknesses of the enemy, to some extent. But why specifically for Zinch? It seems a little odd. Are there Elven Stormcast? Not that we're aware of. As far as we can tell, they were all human. But I would need to double check that and see if there's anything more that I can say. There needs to be the same with dwarves. Yeah, in a way. I get it. Like, if they don't want to do that and they want the Stormcast to be like human, fine. But they have to be able to. That the other factions are worth taking. Because Sigmar was humanity's god. Remember that? Like, back in the day, Sigmar was humanity's god. Not Dwarven or Elvish. Yours was... okay, that's fine. Needs to get back into AOS. My undead is starting to get dusty. He also need battle tome. Yeah, definitely get the Legions of Nagash battle tome and have fun. Just go for it. Honestly, just go for it. Have a grand plan meant to make a brazen host style demon army. Intriguing. Not sure quite how you'd pull that one off, but intriguing nonetheless. Probably go for about 15, maybe 20 more minutes, and then we'll call it a night because I've been going for like 4 hours at that point, including technical difficulties. To be fair, thankfully, since we had the reboot, we haven't had technical difficulties, which is a relief. Deary me. He was the god of the Empire, the rest of humanity didn't give a flip. Yes, that is true. But therefore, the most likely people he's going to resonate with and like watch over are going to be humans by default. Yes, 4 hours, I know, it goes by, doesn't it, Rowan? It goes by 3.5, 4 hours of just doing this. I mean, I spent probably about 90 minutes of it with the painting, yeah. Led by the unkillable guy. What's his name? Unless you're thinking of like Corgus Cull, if you're still like doing a thing with that corn thing. I don't know. How many of the old human gods can you name? Not many. Like, I know about Sigmar, and there was Ulrich, or... Ulrich, was it? Yeah, it was Ulrich, not Wulfric. There was... Come on. I feel like there was one from, like, Nuln. Like, the engineers had, like, one. I don't think the wizards had one in particular. Like, I didn't do humanity back in fantasy. I didn't play Empire. I played I played elves, so like I know about Asian, Kane, Isha, Fall, Mathlon. Okay, I'm still going here as well. Favorite AOS faction? Oh, don't put that one on me. I need to see the Idoneth lore in full before I make that decision. Nagash, the Undying Kingdom was a good read. Think it kickstarts my love of AOS sounds more. Good. Glad to hear it. Very glad to hear it. Always glad to hear people getting back into AOS, because I had a period where I went out of love with AOS. I was just playing 40k around the time of 8th edition, so it was fine. But getting the Stormcast Battle Tome and just reading up on that really invigorated me to like say, screw it, go with it. And well, nearly 4,500 points later, and 2 armies that I want to start and get like 5,000 points off as well. This is going to be one of the stabbiest models to ever stab. Like between the backpack, spike on the helm, which is not balanced like that, and then the banner's really spiky. Oh, this is spiky McSpike face. To be honest, for the Necrocodex, I was pretty tired of 8th. I've not been super fussed about 8th. Like, I'll go and I'll play it, sure, and I'll probably enjoy it now, especially now that I've got the Tower Codex, but I wasn't super involved with 8th as a game. I was like interested in it, but not the same as AOS has been intriguing me. And AOS's lore has done great this past 4 months for engaging the flip out of me. Like between Malign Portents and the Daughters and the Idoneth, there's been so much to just get me back intrigued in AOS from a lore perspective, and that's what's been keeping me out of the game, is I didn't care enough lore-wise to want to invest. So I couldn't get, some of the issues with the game was just bugging me, and I didn't have a reason to get pushed through that with the lore because the models were only so much on their own. Then I read the lore, and then we got more lore, and I was completely hooked. So yeah, I completely sympathise. I have to say, for the people who've been here for almost the entire stream, then I have to give you credit for sticking it out. Like, I really do have to give you credit for sticking it out. So yeah, tomorrow we've got a lore video. What have I got tomorrow? I can remember. I don't know what it is yet. I'm going to leave that true. I haven't played with the 8th Tower at all. The 8th Tower only came out a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't got anything for them because I haven't got my 40k with me in France, so I haven't touched it. We got all 3 Mortarts tomorrow. I have to let them sit there for another 2 years with 40 skeletons. Nice. That's going to be a. I wouldn't go. I wouldn't be building like mega models now. I part paint. I'll build them a bit in sub assemblies, and then I'll paint them, and then I'll finish the assembly. But go for it. Like, if you can get the Mortarks done and get skeletons to serve under them, that'll be a really good thing just to get you back into it. Sometimes you do need that push to get you back into it. So yeah, tomorrow is lore. Then Monday is my starting a new army discussion. Then I'll probably stream Tuesday or Wednesday, and we'll hopefully have Idoneth previews that we can talk about. Then obviously lore again, and then Town called Malice. So I'll be showing off the Paladins and this Knight Vexilor, probably. And yeah, that's the plan. Cortide is cool force, so it can't be that unless you're his underling. It's more of a cavalry force. Infantry is a mixed. Stampede is cap, but that could be minimal. Yeah, true. There's plenty of build options, and I'm sure that with a bit of stop and think about it, you can make something work. Idoneth excitement, yeah. Hopefully next week shows me what their faction could be all about and is really intriguing. I knew someone was going to say Doom Turtle hype. I knew someone was going to say it. I knew it. I just knew it was going to get said by someone at some point. Yeah, sorry. It's been a while now. I've kind of said everything I need to say. I've not fallen asleep. No, I mean I'm gone a bit quieter than I was, but no, I'm not. This is kind of, if there's not something coming from chat, sometimes I've said everything earlier that I wanted to say. Yeah. The United Demonizing and attachment to Slanesh detachment. They hate each other. But alright. Seems like a fun idea. Graveguard does look really good now, being able to get them up to 80 attacks. Jesus Christ. That's a lot of attacks. That is a hell of a lot of attacks, and I kind of... Oh, God. Thankfully in AOS things fall over reasonably quickly. Like, the best... Like, most things only have like one wound and a best of 4-up save, so... It could be worse, I guess? I guess. I'm sure Graveguard probably has some hero defense rules as well. I'm not an expert on death, so I don't know. Do we know Grand Alliance Idoneth are their order? I've made that perfectly clear. They are order. They are absolutely order. Why? I'm not sure. Probably just because they wanted to be left alone and everything else. They weren't going to fight with destruction. They are alive and their soul's withering away. I don't think Nagash is going to be much help to them, so not death. And not chaos because hates Slanesh and never wants to be anywhere near Slanesh ever again, so de facto order. I was interested to see their reasons for joining the Grand Alliance and stuff, but yeah. It's a bit late for the story, if I'm honest. Like, I'm probably going to be signing off in like 5 minutes, so as interesting as that story is, I probably maybe should have asked for it a little earlier, because I hadn't had time to read it and break it down and have that full discussion. Basically what it breaks down to is it looks like Nagash has found the Idoneth and therefore there will be trouble. Because Nagash hates the Idoneth for their soul stealing, because they're basically doing what Sigmar did, i.e. stealing souls that rightly belong to him and to Shaiish when they shouldn't. Therefore Nagash hates them. Why destruction? Because they're isolationists, they just want to be left alone. They fled all contact with mortals and just hid away. And they hate the fact they have to raid and steal the souls of others. They hate it. So it just doesn't suit the chaotic, apocalyptic tendencies of destruction. Just want to wreck everything in their way. Bitter Owl sounds like an army that will challenge the other half to anything you can do, I can do better match every battle. As long as they don't kill each other. I wish that warning would just buzz off and like, you've already told me. You don't have to tell me again. Especially not 1,800,000 times. They're not even like sad that they tried to cut off themselves from all pleasures and desires and emotions to try and avoid Slanesh's attention. So, not even that. More apathetic than that. I mean, they still have emotions, obviously, but, yeah. Been a lot of Nagash the last few months. Yeah, there has. Between Malign Paul and Leaders of Nagash, this has been Death's cycle. Like, Order and Chaos have had... Order and Chaos just get general releases over time, but Death has had a really big push, and I'm hoping that the Destruction get a big push as well. What is a Storm Warden? You really need to be more specific. Storm Warden. I know I've heard that name, but I can't place it. Storm Warden. Storm Warden. Never had them, in all honesty. Never had them. Is there a black and white Stormcast scheme? There's black and gold, obviously the animals of the Heldenhammer. Of the ones listed here, no. Of the ones listed here, no. That's not to say you can't make one, but of the ones listed, no. In the oh, there's a Storm Warden in the chat. The Sky Warden is the hero of the Swiftwalk Agents, formerly known as the Lothern Sea Helm. The Storm Wardens are their chapter. Yeah, I know the name of it. Yeah, them being a Space Marine chapter would make sense. Oh, Jesus Christ. Stop it. Stop it. Sky Wardens are an Overlord unit. Sky Warden is also something. Is Warhammer named after the weapon of Sigmar? The weapon of Sigmar is Galmaraz. It is a Warhammer, yes, but its name is Galmaraz. Technically. Though it is a Warhammer, yes. Incidentally, Galmaraz was lost and found in the realm of metal, from which it was then liberated and given to the Celestin Prime, whoever that is. Oh, there are no... Yeah, the Sky Wardens are also a Carriage and Overlord unit. Yes, you might be right on that. Anyway, I think, unless people have anything desperately to add, that I might call it here. It's been good, yeah. The chapter called Stormlords, Tempest Wardens, but I don't recall the Storm Wardens, but it seems like a name that might exist. It seems like a name that might exist. But yeah, unless people have got any last questions or ideas or thoughts, then yeah. Is the name a reference to is it a reference to Galmaraz? It might be, though I think that the name came before Galmaraz, so I would wager that Galmaraz is a hammer because the game is named Warhammer, rather than the game is named Warhammer because Galmaraz is a hammer. I would wager. Wiki fan, I don't know much about Age of Sigmar. So the Tomb King's Thunder. No, not particularly. They're kind of dead. As far as we're aware, they're very, very unlikely to return. That's not to say they won't, because this is Age of Sigmar and weird things happen sometimes. But most likely, they dead. They very dead. But yeah, that was a good stream. I got my model done, which was important. I got to talk about the Idoneth, which was fun, and you guys all got on board with that, which was great. Hopefully next time we'll have some interesting stuff to discuss about them. So if I don't stream on Sunday, which I may or may not, then certainly I'll be streaming in the middle of next week to talk about the, hopefully, Idoneth previews that we're going to be getting. Make sure to tune in tomorrow to the channel for 40k Stories, which is going to be a nice, lovely little one, which has been requested, and I hope people enjoy. And then after that, Monday, we have an interesting little My Thoughts On. And then we're back to lore, and we'll be going back to some Xenos next week, all going well. So, thank you very much. Cetra can't be ruled out, no one convinced me otherwise. Yeah. Can't rule out Cetra, but yeah. Anyway, I do hope you have enjoyed the stream. It's been a pleasure, as always. Memes and all, I suppose. So yes, thank you for watching. This has been Tactica Imperialis, and until the next time, see you all again, ladies, gentlemen, and Xenos of all ages. Good night.